Ah, sì, ed è Arthur non ha mangiato abbastanza pasta o...
I am about to say the fuck yeah count.
PN Word Napolet...
Testing, testing. All right. Should be good to go now.
Arthur, quel Doom sta impiegando...
You guys hear me all right? All right. This.
Yes, you...
End of wall.
Cool, Maurice. Thank you, Maurice.
Arthur e
Special
Morgan
confirmation
maggiore
on
al...
YouTube. Change this up. Oh,
Arthur can't take the...
there we go. Hauser. Over. Timing's all right. Good.
Hawaiian
Better lighting here.
When Arthur is the only one...
Here we go. All right, turn off that bot. We're done with that. Let's see what Slayers do we have here. We have Jono here. Jono, be ready for... Jono?
Do you hear me, Arthur?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Be ready for it's time kind of situations in case people act up. Everybody be respectful of each other. Be respectful of your microphones and our headphones and speakers. And interruptions and such. With that, greetings, everybody. Good to see you. I'll introduce you guys and ask you how you're doing since I didn't get a chance to do that beforehand. But to all the listeners out there, current and in the future, this is Monstercast number 76. They will be talking about monster creators out there. So not the biggest, well, it's up to you. We'll be talking about people that have created monsters out there, other than yourself or friend, somebody that's a bit more known as, a bit more, so let's say, professional. We always look for the obscure ones, so big ones
Hello,
are
guys.
always great to share about, but the more obscure ones, nice little gems out there, are always a wonderful thing to share because it helps the artists out, and it's just awesome to learn stuff like that.
Yeah.
New stuff. Okay, so
Yeah,
let me.
I have a monster creator
Okay.
that I think most of you guys are not going to think of.
Good.
Unfortunately, it's not really going to help him out because the guy, I think he already passed away. But he is kind of obscure.
It might
Well,
be the
that's
same
sad.
one that Louis shared with me, so we'll see. All right, guys, so let me introduce everybody, and we'll get going with that. Welcome, Maurice Ramey and the Raincrawler over on YouTube. Let's see, how many viewers do we have there now? Nobody sneaky? No, nobody's. All right, like the sneaky ones. Okay. Let's see. Anything worthy here? Preparation chat. Cool. A lot of people showed up. Awesome. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Good. Let's take that bot. Move it out. Target. Cool. Right on, guys. Thank you for joining. And Louis is here, so we can officially get started. Crash landing, but I'm good. Greetings, Monsterites. Greetings, my man. All right. So over here we got Chicken God. So she's back for another round.
Hello,
We
Chicken
had a
God.
decent enough time last time to join back in. Welcome back, Chicken God. Cool. Awesome. And thanks for continuing the shares over on the Monster Creations cavern, showing off more of your work, which is welcome back, Supro CD.
Hello.
There she is, Curtis Cat. Let's bring up her mic a bit. A little quiet. Get out here.
Sorry.
Go. We got Donde. Donde. Hello, Donde. How are you? Donde's good. Donde's good. I heard him earlier. He's good. He's alive. We know that much. Darth Phoenix. Guten Tag. How are you, Darth
he alive?
Phoenix? He is alive. Hello, Darth Phoenix. Good to see you. Good. Dio. Hello, Guten Tag. How are you, Dio? Welcome back. Cool. Okay. Gargamel. Welcome back. How are you, Gargamel? And we have Gogmazio. Welcome back, Gogmazio. Gogmazio
Sorry, I
is
couldn't
back from
respond
work.
there a moment ago. I muted my mic. I'm sorry.
No worries.
The guy I'm wanting to show off. I'm not going to tell you who he is. He was a comic book artist.
Okay, so it's not what I'm thinking. Cool. All right.
And he came up with these creations on his own, I think, for the most
Alrighty.
part.
We'll get to you in a second then, Gargamel. We got John Ham, the Kaiju Whisperer. Hello. Hello, Ajano.
Hello, Arturo.
There he is. And then we have Olva Krieger. Let's see. Who is this? This is the new person. I think this is the new person to join in. Oh, and the one I haven't welcomed. So welcome. If this is your first time on the Monstercast, awesome to have you here. Have a great time. Hope you have a great time. And yeah, just follow regular, I guess, etiquette of being live. And in a room full of this many people in chat, we can handle this, guys. Not many people can. And I've shouted this out, I think, even last time, but that's pretty awesome that we can have like 10, 11, 12, 13 people, like 4 in voice or 5 sometimes, and we still pull it off, without having crazy crash and burns. So right on. Kudos to you guys. I do want to thank everybody that keeps the Discord going. Huge thanks to that. There's some people not here. There might be some people that are sneaky. I don't know. But I do want to wholeheartedly thank you guys that keep this Discord going, because there really isn't, and I wish everybody could hear this, that does help keep the Discord going, because I really do appreciate it. There's never a moment where some cavern here doesn't have a new post. I mean, you can update yourself on every cavern here, and within a day or two, no, within almost maybe a little more than a day, every like main topic cavern is gonna have something. I think that's pretty awesome. So thank you guys that keep that going. And finally, I didn't say hello to Giga or Gig. So greetings, Gig. Good to have you back as well. I think they're second or third time back. So awesome to have you all. Raincrawler, I sent you my own Discord DM. Okay, so that was you. Okay, gotcha, Raincrawler. And Lord Ken, I don't know who that is. I guess they shared something as well, maybe. So today, how are we going to choose people? Maybe I'll take control of that. We won't use the Wheel of Torture today, or for you guys to ask for the next one, as that sometimes gets prolonged. So maybe I'll just run this thing and see how it goes. I'll just choose random people if that's all right with you guys. If you do want to see some way, let me.
Go ahead with me.
Oh, they love us already. Well, we love you. Sweet. Okay, John's in 2 places at once. We like that. Oh, by the way, how is your lumbago? Lumbago, Jono. You got ultra lumbago.
Now we have ultra lumbago.
Oh crap. See, that's what you get. You made fun of me so many times, and finally you got it worse than anybody. Just make sure
I'm joking.
you.
I don't have lumbago.
No, no. You can't.
I went out today for the first time in 2 months.
Oh wow. How was it?
Yeah. Awful.
Why?
I don't like it. I had to go to wait a second. What's the English word for that? I had to go and do a blood transfusion because I want to donate bone marrow. So I had to do some tests.
Wow, that's serious. Where did you get the idea to do that?
They came to school this association, and I thought to myself, well, I might save a life. Maybe Arthur will need my bone marrow in the nearby future. So
now that's a true Slayer. That's Slayer's work right there. Well, that's pretty serious because, I mean, that's not just drawing blood. Bone marrow, I don't know exactly the process, but I'm pretty sure it's a bit more extreme than just pulling some blood. Well, if you get that done, kudos to you, Jono. That's pretty serious donation there. It's gutsy too. It's gutsy. I think it painful. Well, I don't know. I don't know how painful it would be, but with these days, I mean, but I can imagine back in the day it would be hell.
It's not even sure. It's something so rare that it might even be years from now before they call me.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right, guys. Didn't want that distraction, but we do like hearing from Jono's updates. He is, if you don't know, he does live in Italy, so we do like to hear updates from there. Did you feel any more anxiety now that you've been home so much? Did you feel a lot of anxiety going out, Jono?
A bit more. It's from social anxiety that I always have. But, yeah, it's not the best thing in the world. I like to stay inside.
Sure.
But I will have to go outside sooner or later. So.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah, I wonder about that. You know, I wonder with people out there and all that. I mean, I have. I know many of us here have certain anxieties and such. So we'll see. We'll see how the world perseveres through all this. So anyway, good luck with your lumbago, Jono. Sleep under a nice thick layer of cheese tonight.
Skin already thick, Arthur.
Right on. Okay. All right, guys. Let's move along now to monster creators. So again, people that have created monsters that are pretty well known, the more obscure but awesome, the better. So
Well, my
first gonna-
guy's somewhat obscure and somewhat well known.
and there he is.
He's probably more obscure than he used to be. Just
Okay.
because the thing he created is I don't think it's as popular as it once was, but it was really popular back in the day, and it might still be to some degree. I think it kind of is.
Okay, well, tell us about him or her.
I will when you call on me.
Go ahead, Gargamel. You can go first.
Okay. I decided I'm gonna do the guy who I'm actually gonna do the guy who created the Smurf comics. He's technically a monster creator because we could argue the Smurfs are monsters by your definition. His name is he goes by the pseudonym Peo. I don't know how to pronounce his actual name. Let me post it in the main voice text cavern.
Okay. So you said the guy that created the Smurfs and all
Yeah,
that?
there's something. Yeah, something went wrong there. I'm gonna post the link in the
Okay.
main voice text cavern now.
Glad you guys all
Give me a
found the
moment.
right cavern here. Right, he's posting.
So I
can
was
see-
writing that incorrectly. This is taking me longer than I thought I would.
No
So
worries,
I was
no worries.
made a mistake of the fix.
You're good.
Hold on.
Mhm. After that, we're gonna have Dio go. So be ready, Dio. When I call on you, just post all your stuff.
I think the guy is French/Belgium, and I think he was in Belgium because it was originally the Smurfs was originally a Belgian comic book.
Gonna shout out
Did it
everyone again.
post? Did it post? Did it get posted, guys? I'm not sure. Yeah,
Yes.
it did.
Okay,
You see?
so this is the man. This is the
Yeah,
true
it is.
Gargamel.
Yeah, that's the guy who made him. In fact, Gargamel was in the original comic books too. I remember correctly. As
Okay,
well as a cartoon.
so he was kind of the villain from the very beginning.
He is the main villain. He was the main villain almost.
Right.
Well, not everyone, but initially almost everyone in the Smurf comics, I think. And then they started like branching out and stuff, and adding like new bad guys and new storylines.
Why has this impacted you so much, Gargamel? Did you just grow up
Yeah, he
with
did.
this?
So it was my favorite show for a long time. I was like a little kid.
Were you much of a fan of David the Gnome?
Not as anyone knew as much as the Smurfs, but I did see that show. It's pretty good.
And Gummy Bears?
Gummy Bears I liked as well.
Cool.
I don't think he had anything to do with those shows though, did he?
I don't know. I don't think so. So what can you tell us about him? Like, what other work is he known for, and anything else great in his life?
I don't think he's known for anything else really. But he did make them, and he made a lot of different characters in the Smurfs. His first story was the Magic Flute in 1958.
1958 was his first.
Yeah, his first story.
Oh, I didn't realize it's that old. For anybody that doesn't know the Smurfs.
It was a long time until it came to the United States, and it became a cartoon. It was then republished, and then in the 1970s is when they made the first film, which was the Smurfs and the Magic Flute. I didn't even know it was that old.
Right. So it's Belgium based. So was he doing these as a comic book?
Originally as a comic book, yes.
Okay, and that's back in Belgium, not in the
Yeah.
US yet. I see.
Not in the U.S. yet. But the movie was in the U.S. because I know that they translated that in the English.
Sure.
And it was in the 1980s. It was made into an animated TV series by Hanna-Barbera here in the United States.
So 1980. See, guys, how long it can take before you really hit that fame. Sometimes it's like the story of Henry Ford that created the Ford cars. It's said, I don't know how true that is, but I remember hearing this back in school.
Actually, his original series that he wrote was Joanne and Piet, which was the original Belgian comic that I think, and yeah, it's Pee-wee, Joanne Pewitt from the human characters from the Smurfs, which were never as popular as the Smurfs themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And the Smurfs has a bunch of other monsters in it. I'm not sure which ones he created though, but there's like dragons and stuff, and trolls, and these little ogre-like things that are like green.
It looks like
But he is the person who created that universe.
right. It looks like Tintin is also a Belgium creation. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't think did he have anything to do with that though?
I doubt it. No, I'm just looking here. Like I was saying, guys, it can take a long time before you hit your fame with your creations. So be patient and just do what you love. Eventually, you might get a break if you're lucky. You're the lucky few.
That's something John Hogan will say.
There you go. So, now I was looking at other Belgium creations because of an interesting topic I brought up after a Monstercast recently, at one of our after parties. That it's interesting when you look at older cultural cartoons and comic books of different countries, because you see specific illustration styles, and usually it's one or two prolific, like better known, greater artists, more influential artists for the era that started the trend, and then maybe other artists copied along the lines.
Yeah, his art actually, I don't think his art is that distinctive, because I've seen a lot of American cartoons that are kind of similar.
So I was.
Might be that it's more like, because it's more like Western, so his art might have been influenced more by, like, say, Disney at the time than like Japanese anime. So that would make sense.
Yeah, so that's what I was wondering. I was wondering if Belgium older illustration style has this similar trend that you'd see in the Smurfs, but not necessarily here. But anyway, that is an interesting concept. Like, look at the old countries, or any countries. Look at Russia. I remember they had a specific style that I mentioned. Italy probably has something that some illustrator did. Just how they drew their people. It's kind of interesting to see.
Yeah.
And how they drew people of other nations as well.
Though, too.
What's that?
Which is kind of interesting. The people who think that the Smurfs are satanic. It's kind of funny. Those religious people that believe
is there a conspiracy or something around that?
Yeah. And then there was one that was more of a genuine controversy when there was a story about what are called, quote, the Black Smurf, and the Smurfs had a disease that turned them black and made them hyper-aggressive. And in the English version, they changed it to a purple Smurf because of the obvious racist connotations.
Gargamel, I'm looking for some of the... Let me see. Okay, here's one. Some more of the original Smurf. I think this might be it, actually, because I'm looking for one of the oldest, copies of the Smurf comic, and I'm just finding the newer ones with the blue Smurfs, but apparently they look different. If you can find something like that, Gargamel, I think I did here. If you want to take a look at this, guys. I think this is one of the old Smurf comics in Belgium before they became the blue Smurfs that you know today. So if you look at them, they're these little...
Are you sure those are Smurfs?
That's what I found. It says that this is a rare original. You guys can double check this in the language. But if you're following over for YouTube, then you can see how I found this out. The Smurfs rare comic, 1950.
You should make sure, because they don't look anything like Smurfs at all. They look more like humans.
But it does make sense, though. It does make sense that they would go through a change too, through so many years of him working on this project.
Yeah, but they don't look at all like the Smurfs.
Right.
And
which is pretty cool. Yeah, it says it's the first.
I would be a little
skeptical
before you.
Right.
You have a blog that's writing about that's English translation.
Yeah.
That's or you can get that's well known to be a trustworthy source on it.
For sure. Yeah, and if anybody wants to confirm that, go right ahead. We'll be
If
moving
that's what
along
they used
here.
to look like, I had no idea.
Yeah, that's what it says. It's the first appearance of the Smurfs rare comic, 1958. So they had them as these.
Maybe those are human characters.
Well, yeah, they are.
And we're not seeing the actual Smurfs yet.
Possibly. What I'm thinking is that it. Well, let's see. We can flip through. Okay, that's just another page. What I'm thinking is that it is these ethnic-looking kids, kind of.
Yeah, I heard that there was
tribal.
some comic books written by him that have the Smurfs in them, but take place in the modern day, at least modern day when he was alive.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some differences.
Well, we'll see. It's a mystery, a little bit of a mystery for now. So if anybody can confirm
I should have
that.
done more research on him before I mentioned him.
Yep. There you have it, folks. We might be looking at the original rendition of the Smurfs. But
yeah, those are John and Pee-wee, whatever his characters' names were, that were in the medieval looking guys that were in the Smurfs cartoon, and he originally wrote them, made up with them. The one with the black hair and the one with the yellow hair.
Mm-hmm.
The guy with the sword too. So with the sword that has black hair.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right, guys.
Doc 0000 showed that picture.
Yeah.
I should have been more prepared. I can't believe I just.
No worries. Okay.
It's kind of lazy. Shouldn't have done that.
It's okay. I was last minute too. Anything else to share
by
about him?
the way, no, not really. I just have one question though. The one guy that came before me, what was the person that was that they shared?
Nobody came before you, Gargamel. I was still introducing everything.
Oh, I was just on the impression that someone did.
Yep, you were the first.
Okay. So if anyone else has questions, I guess they could ask them, and then we could
go
move
ahead,
on.
guys. Anybody have any comments or things to share? Any other fans of the Smurfs here? If not, let's move along then. Welcome, Procrastitron's here. Load up. Let's see. Okay, we'll move along then. It was Dio next. So Dio, go ahead and post your share. And let me know as soon as I go silent, guys, because my microphone has this loose connection lately, so sometimes I go silent. Unless you just enjoy me being silent. I'll get that as well. Let's see. Raincrawler said, I didn't know the Smurfs had a comic, right? I didn't know these things either. I didn't know it was that freaking old. That's pretty awesome to know.
A lot of things are older than you realize.
Ooh.
And some of them are more recent than you realize.
I should do an in-depth video. I think I've mentioned it before on Smurfs. I think I will in the future. I know AJ Pickett did the D&D channel that I collaborate with sometimes.
And he did what if you were to put Smurfs in D&D,
in D&D, yeah.
He didn't
Smurfs
call
in
it
D&D.
that, but he just called it D&D Smurfs. And and it was of course a custom build because you couldn't put some actual Smurfs in D&D because there'd be a lawsuit if you did. It did officially, at least is what I mean.
Right. All right, guys. So yeah, if you want to see how Smurfs would work in D&D, guys, go ahead and YouTube Smurfs D&D, Smurfs in D&D, and check out his video and hashtag Smurfs WOM if you do in the comments.
Oh, it's just
so we can find each other.
It's just he called it Smurf. That's what he called it.
Okay.
Not
I love
Smurfs
the
in
Gargamel
D&D.
Cold is talking about Smurfs creator. It's full circle, right, Louis?
His name is his pseudonym is Peo. I saw his actual name, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
Hold on, Dio. We'll get to you in a second. By the way, Gargamel Louis said that he loves that Gargamel Gold is talking about Smurfs. It's a full circle. I'm a full circle. I sent my entry to you via Messenger. Thanks, Louis.
It is. It's this. The circle is complete.
Cool. Right on, Gargamel. Thank you. All right, let's move on to Dio's, everybody. Try to stay awake, Dio, at least through this, and then you're free to fly out of your mind. I'm going to talk about Victor Frankenstein from Frankenstein. He is basically just that crazy scientist who tries to bring a human zombie-like thing to life. So...
Are we talking about like people in real life who created monsters, not the fictional, like maybe fictional monsters, not fictional characters that created monsters?
Louis, you got to go to AJ Pickett's channel and do that if you watch his video. Do hashtag Smurfs. Yeah, Gargamel, that's right. So Dio kind of did the not literal.
Maybe he didn't Maybe he just didn't understand what we meant.
Yeah. So he did the literal monster creator. So Dio, it's all good. We'll share this. But Dio, today we're talking monster creators like real life writers and artists and things like that that have created monsters. But it's all good. It's all good. So he's talking about Dr. Frankenstein here, which he later on with lighting. Hold on. Crazy scientist who tries to bring a human.
Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah.
What you want to mention? The real life creator behind that. That would be Mary Shelley.
Right.
And she's unusual because she.
Hold on, Gargamel.
She's one of the few women.
Gargy.
Who, create a monster back in the
Gargamel.
19th century. Just to let you know that.
Hold on, Gargamel. Let me get through this.
Okay.
Through his share. Hold on. Tries to bring a human zombie to life, which he does later on with lightning. Frankenstein is a big, bizarre zombie dude who hates fire and is actually quite nice for a monster, even making his friends think. I didn't see the movie myself yet. Aw. I wonder if you saw any renditions of Frankenstein, though, Dio. But I would watch it even if it's older because it looks cool and interesting. It is a good old black and white movie, actually. So let me see what Dio said. My whole life is a lie. Jono's in his own world. Real life monster creator. Stephen King. Okay, so Dio. So wait, Gargamel, you were saying that the original writer was who? No, he's quiet.
Sorry. Her name was Mary Shelley. She was unusual because she was one of the few women in the 19th century to write like horror, basically.
Right. Yeah, I can
post a link to her.
I'm sure we've mentioned her because we talked about Frankenstein a bit in the past, but I didn't know that it was a lady too, and at that time that her story went on. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, awesome. That's an awesome shout out to her. Yeah, you can post her, Gargamel, if you can post a picture or a little link about her. That'd be awesome. Raincrawler said what Gargamel wanted. He wanted to eat the Smurfs or turn them into gold. Maybe he wanted both, Raincrawler. It was a little insane. I wonder who Gargamel Gold here sees as Smurfs among us. Oh, there she is, guys.
You better hope I don't see Smurfs among you.
It's gonna turn you into gold. Wow, that's awesome that there's not even that we have a painting of her instead of a photo. February 1851. Yeah, that's awesome. I wonder how old the original writing is. Is it 1851? No, she lived until Yeah, he lived until 1851. Wow, well, that's crazy, guys.
It's from.
Yeah, check it out.
1818.
1818 is the book. Ooh, we're going back in time, guys. I'm liking this. This might be the oldest one today. We'll see if it hits that record. As the Smurfs were created 1950 something, so this is about 100 years later that she died, and less than 100 years later that she created Frankenstein. So shout out to her. I wonder what other creations she's come up with. Since she just popped up, I know Dio wasn't ready to research her, but if you guys can find out anything else, Modern Prometheus. Yeah, if you guys can find out any others of her workings. But that's awesome. Frankenstein, look at her. I wonder if she ever got the reward. I'm sure in her lifetime she didn't get the reward she deserved for creating such an awesome creature, creation, monster. Someone needs to do so many cool creations from, those days, because it was all about looking at humanity, and that's why, we question, is he the monster and all that, and why he was kind but he was ostracized and all that, all those topics. That was the whole point of it. It wasn't just gluing a person together and throwing them out and making some cool thing like we see in crap media a lot these days. It was a lot deeper, and I wonder where all the not deep stuff, because I'm sure there was a lot of crap created in all eras. So crappy stories, crappy monsters. I wonder how that got lost in time, because there's probably some cool creations that came up. They just didn't have the quality lore, or maybe the writers or creators just didn't get noticed, so that got lost in time. All right. Anybody else?
Well, maybe there's stories that weren't very popular at the time, but would have been popular, had they been written at a later time. We don't know.
Right, exactly. For sure. Yeah, I'd say she was ahead of her time with this level of story too. That's around the time where we started discovering electricity and all that. So I could see the inspiration, all that lab work. Yeah, kind of ahead of its time. And of course, we see new editions of Frankenstein nowadays with up-to-date technology. So yeah, I think she was on drugs when she thought the concept of Frankenstein. She told her friends
that
who were at the time.
Doc said he was on drugs.
Maybe Dak. Who knows? I don't think she was on drugs. She doesn't look like it, but it's possible. At that time, if she was on drugs, that's pretty risky with the other crap that was going around the world, and how women were viewed and how naughty women would be viewed. So that would be quite a risk. Plus, you don't have to be on drugs to be creative. That's what kind of bugs me sometimes. No offense to you, Dak, but when people when they see something cool or creative online, they say, "Ooh, this person must have been on a lot of drugs." No, they're just creative. I think drugs take away from your creations sometimes, and sometimes make it look like what you've created is much deeper than it truly is. I know marijuana does that a lot. But anyway, who knows? In the end. But she did frighten him.
It depends, honestly. But yeah.
You were saying, Gargamel, you wanted to say in reference to somebody? Something? Oh, I forgot to shout out my project.
I was about to say that Doc was saying that he might have, that maybe Shelley was on drugs, but you already mentioned that while I was about to say it. That's all.
Oh, okay. So you had that impression as well, Gargamel?
No, I did not have the impression.
Oh, you read the comment. Gotcha.
I just was responding to what he had written.
Right.
About her.
Drew heard it on a documentary. I agree the documentary could be wrong. Oh, I see. Well, that could be something to look into more. I'd certainly, if I were doing an in-depth research on that, I would dig deeper into that. So, yeah, thanks for shouting that out, Dak, actually. I'm glad you did. I want to do a shameless self-promotion real quick because I almost forgot, and Rita showed up, and I do want to thank her for the support. So thank you, Rita, for that extra bit of just support. I do appreciate it, and I did want to tell you live, and you know what I'm talking about. She definitely was too bad she didn't get more attention. Agreed with you. She was Van Gogh, an artist not appreciated when she was alive. Agreed, Louis. So huzzah, now she's appreciated. This is inspiring me to do more of a video on her, for sure. I want to shout something out, guys, real quick. Donde was one of the artists on this project, too. It is finally official. It's a little related, not that much, but I do want to shout it out just because why not? You guys already know it if you're on Discord, but here's the link. If you guys are watching live on YouTube, you can take a look about what I'm talking about. It's the tiles I created for D&D and other RPGs. Just a little side project I was working on to try my hands at something a little different, especially after YouTube tortured me a little bit I was looking for other ways and other directions to develop myself as well. But I'm very inspired to get back and get back hard with World of Monsters. So this is the project. It's on Kickstarter live right now. It's the Adventurers RPG tiles. And caves. So they're these organically shaped, not square and rectangle shaped tiles that are printed out. There, if you can see on the bottom here, they come out 1.5 millimeters thick. There's H.A. Pickett's shout out. There's Idig Beer's channel helping. If you guys want a free tile set with the box, underneath the box, if you look at, so this is all the contents. If you guys are watching, you get this box, you get the tiles, they're push outs. So you'll get them on sheets and you just push them out like tokens. And you get these nice full-size tiles with a 1-inch square grid on them for moving around your miniatures. You can also get a gridless one. And then on the other side of the box, the back, the underneath, I've been excited to tell you guys actually because I've been working on this for a year, but I just don't like to push it here because it's not, it's not World of Monsters, so I get, the point if I push something like that too much. But underneath the box is because boxes are expensive to produce and to ship and all that, so I wanted to include yet another tile. So the whole backing of the box, the underneath, is a whole nother terrain tile. So yeah, it's a little project. Donde did some of these tiles. I've worked on some of them and edited some of them, and another artist called Kim. Awesome artist. She really pushed this. She really gave this life at the beginning, so I do appreciate that. So there they are, guys, and here's the Kickstarter if you guys want to check it out. It's the Adventurers RPG tiles. You can just Google it or find it on Kickstarter. There you go. So that's my shameless shout out to that because I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of what Donde's done with it, and it's just awesome. I'm sure he's happy to see something with his work out in physical form. Hopefully we'll get funded all the way. Either way, it's been quite a ride. It's been over a year in production and setting up this Kickstarter. So I'm excited. It's finally up. It's going to be up for another 31 days. Let's hope we get funded. But let's proceed with the next person. Thank you, Dio, for sharing. That was an interesting to dive into. Anybody want to share next, or should I just pick a random person? If you guys want to share, go ahead and say it. If not, then okay, I'll choose the next person. I'll choose someone that sent me something privately. Louis said, nothing shameless about promoting yourself. It's part of the work. Right on, Louis. And again, Rita, thank you. So I'm going to choose... Let me see who Lord Ken is. Let me make sure it's not some... Sombra... Okay. Anyway, I can do a challenge sometime. I'm sorry, Sombra, if I'm reading this in public here over YouTube. I'm not sure. Sombra's talking about the challenge. So Donde does run the challenges. This month's challenge, Donde, and this is a creation art challenge. Any creations you guys want, written or art. We do a monster challenge every month, and we talk it over here. If you want details, let us know. But Donde runs them. So this month's is... Go ahead, Donde. Introduce this month's challenge.
Monsters like cyborgs and mechanical creatures of sorts.
Mechanical creatures, clockwork, cyborgs, androids. There you guys have it. Robot. We need more robots on the channel, I agree. I've read that in the past as well. So, robots. So, send your robotic creations to the Creating Monsters Cavern or to Donde privately if you want, and we'll check them out at the end of the month. Sombra wanted to know if he can be part of the challenge, so of course. If you want to contact Donde, since you can right now, and I might forget later, you can go ahead and message Sombra or tag him somewhere and let him know that he can be part of the challenge like anybody else. Because he asked me if he can join the challenge, so that's the one I think he's talking about. Okay. Dope. I can go. Okay, Chicken God, you can go. Okay, so let me give this torch to you then to be H. What is to be H? To be honest, I don't have anything. I just informed. Okay, no problem. I might still call you out, Ulva Krieger. So just tell me you don't have anything at that time if I forget. I'm getting one of the other artist buddies on the robot challenge. Awesome. Awesome, Chicken God. Thank you. That's awesome. Here she goes. Tell us about your creator.
Okay, I don't even know where to start. This might be lengthy. I hope you don't mind.
It's all good.
So, okay, let me pull up pictures of him. So I'm talking about Luigi Serafini. I'll be surprised if anyone knows about him. If you know about him, you're the best. Here, let me pull up pictures. Okay, I don't know where to start. Yeah, he's Italian. He's from Rome, I'm pretty sure. I did a project on him for one of my college assignments. Yeah, he was born in 1949 in Rome, and originally he was a furniture designer. And his furniture is kind of abstract. Like it seems like art in itself. You can kind of see some of the. I don't think you can see the furniture in the pictures, but I do have pictures of it. But what he's really known for is a book he made called the Codex Serafinianus. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's literally his last name and the word anus at the end. But I can link a PDF of it. And I have a copy of this book. I discovered it about 2 years ago, and I paid like $80 for it. The thing's huge. It's an encyclopedia about completely made up things, and I'll share some choice images from this book.
So it's called.
Oh yeah, I didn't even mention. You might notice the language is kind of indecipherable. It's something that he made up on his own.
Really awesome.
Yeah, I got this book, and it completely changed my perception on art. It's just so out there, and it's meant to be crazy that I don't know, it taught me how to just I don't know, take risks, do different things with my art. He also his house is completely decked out with his own art. Like he's rebuilt like you can see in the back of that one, that fireplace is just completely constructed by him. His chairs, his furniture, all made by him, or at least repainted. I wanted to find a picture of the front of his house because he has this crazy, colorful gateway that leads into it, but I couldn't find it. I wish I had more to say about the book. There isn't a translation to it because the language he made up is purposely nonsense. It's just made to not make sense. And before you brought up artists on drugs, he did it pretty much completely sober.
It looks like he has a statue of a minotaur and a man hugging in his.
Yeah, they're like dancing.
Yeah, in his house. Is that what's supposed to be?
These are from videos. I didn't want to send videos because they're kind of long. I just took screenshots from them.
I understand. I don't blame you.
Nice preparation.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I already did a project on him. Can I also mention another artist? Like, I don't have much to say or show, but I just want to like throw him out there.
Yeah, hold on. So I'm looking at one of the links you put up. The book's actually available. Yeah, there's an actual available PDF.
Yeah, that's the whole book. Wow. If you want to look at it, there is nudity and there is a little bit of gore, but it's really sparse.
Gotcha. And
it's nothing too crazy, but it's in there. Just fair warning.
Awesome. Yeah, guys, you got the whole free book online here. I'd still want to buy it. I'm not.
Yeah, the version I got, well, it was originally released in 1981, and that's the original. But the version I got was a re-release in 2013. And fortunately, this guy is still alive. He's still making stuff. So he added additions to the new book. So the one I have has a little bit extra, but you're not missing out on too much.
I'm so surprised I haven't heard of him. Do you know if he created the... there's an animation of these giant aliens and little people, and they kind of keep them as pets and toys.
Fantastic Planet?
Yes, is he...
He had nothing to do with that,
Okay,
but
he doesn't.
I saw that movie and it's so similar.
Yeah, right. I'd like to feature that as well. This is awesome. I'm loving this. Very,
Yeah,
very
definitely
cool.
look through that book. It's so great. I was just so, I don't know. Something changed. Something changed inside me when I first discovered it.
Yeah, no, it goes beyond logic and rationale, and that's what makes it so awesome.
He made it when he was isolated for 2 years. He just kind of, he just stayed in his house for 2 years and worked on that thing every day.
Wow.
And
This is amazing, guys. It's over 300 pages, and he even has countries that are all fake and, I mean, all fantasy and all this gibberish writing to support all his diagrams and everything. It's really, I don't think I've seen anything quite like this.
you can't read it, but the drawings somewhat make sense. You can kind of piece together your own lore.
Yeah.
Like my favorite chapter,
Wow.
I sent a picture of 3 pages from it. Just these random like objects with legs, and there's like a whole species, and there's illustrations of like them like living in their daily lives. It's so weird. I
It's
love
amazing.
it.
I almost want to say
I
that-
actually recognize the book now because the front cover didn't show it off, but because it might be a kind of steam, but I recognize the picture. It's an image of 2 people having sex, and they merge and they turn into a crocodile.
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's in
Really
the
cool.
original release. Fortunately, the cover of my book doesn't look like that.
Oh man, I have to save this. It's just, I don't want to, this is not somebody I'd want to do a 5-minute video on. This would be like a series. A whole channel can be dedicated to just this book. This is just interpretations, and it makes you wonder, is there anything like hidden, you know? Is there any message other than just the whole thing, creation being a message?
I wonder that.
Right?
He says it doesn't make sense, but there has to be some sort of story there.
Right. At least it's a exercise in, you know, exploring your own psychology and sanity. And wow. I was gonna say that the Bible
He
has nothing
described it as
on this. No offense to anybody, but go ahead. Sorry.
huh?
Go ahead. I cut you off, maybe.
He described it as a simulation of looking at picture books as a child.
Mm-hmm.
When you can't read it and the images don't quite make sense to you. And I think that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, wow. That's awesome inspiration right there. It's like what I like to see, like recently I saw a nice example of this on Instagram where you take a child's drawing and then like fully render it to a professional level, but keeping the construction of the child's drawing, and you just have this funky, funny looking thing.
Yeah.
You know, but so this is like the gibberish you would see as a kid not understanding. Like look at this, guys. For you guys watching through YouTube, what I'm looking at here, like this snake. I mean, that's reminiscent of these days probably just anal beads. But you see this bulbous snake in certain areas than this. But the second one's even more awesome. Then there's the shoelace snake that bites the. That's such a D&D creature right there, because there's like a rope dragon, a new release in D&D that's like a rope, but it's also like a dragon or something. But you got this shoelace little snake that goes in your shoe and then bites you. But right above it is the most confusing one, and I absolutely love it, where they're showing a snake severed and empty, and then its body is also showing going through the severed part. It's so.
This would probably be great inspiration for people who want to make, add like a homebrew monster to D&D.
Wow. That's so cool. What you can do in isolation. Oh, that cover. Okay, yeah. That's great. So you become a crocodile after you lose your virginity. That's the sin you've done, and you become a croc.
Yeah, and you merge with your lover. It's kind of it's weird, creepy, and disturbing at the same time.
It's just so confusing. That's the best part.
Right, that's the cool thing about it. It has like no serious horrific sense to it. It has more of a biological scientific approach to everything than, anything horrific, but there are crazy things, insane things. He's got a whole flora section with plants, strange plants. What an inspiration. I love it. Makes me wonder about you as well, because you did submit to Dande's last challenge. I wonder what creations you've put out there. Have you sold anything? Have you got into galleries yourself or anything like that?
Yeah, I've gotten into just really obscure art shows, like just with people around my age. No one really professional, but they're fun. I've been to a few of them. I haven't been to them in a while because of the whole quarantine. I really miss them, but
Sure.
yeah.
Is this guy still alive?
Yeah, fortunately he is. I'm happy he is.
Cool.
I don't know how old he is. Let me look him up. I think he's in his 80s.
Okay.
What's his name again?
Luigi Serafini.
Luigi Serafini. Thanks.
Cool.
That's a really nice name.
Oh, he's 70. Okay, he's younger than I thought.
He definitely deserves some time here. Yeah, one last thing.
You could have an interesting interview with him, Arthur. If you could get him on your.
That's true.
If you have a
No doubt.
podcast with him.
I think he only speaks Italian because when I was doing a project about him, I could hardly find anything in English.
It's all right. We got Jono to help us. He wants to prove himself here.
If
all
you
the
can
time.
get into contact with that guy, oh my god, that's like a dream come true. I can't even think about that. That's too much.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna research him. I want to see what else he's done. What I really like about him and just always wanted to do and saw myself is that he made everything art. That's what I kind of did naturally, especially in high school. I loved to do art. I pushed in the art fields in school, and I presented it on myself as well. I even painted up my face once randomly at school and did weird hairstyles and all this stuff. It was all for art. It wasn't for attention. It was what I wanted to see myself as. And even my first car, I did a whole creation of art. I spray painted the entire inside of my car, did different things. I wanted to redo the whole exterior. And I always hoped that, and I do want to do body modifications even, pretty serious ones too when I got older and became a big artist or something. But that's one thing I always wanted to do is own a house. That's why I really want a house. To modify it. And I love that he did that because a lot of artists still, you'll just see these plain houses that they have. But I'd want to do my, and I hope I get a house before this inspiration dies in me, because if I just get too old and I have it eventually, I might just be too tired, or the idea might be in my head too long that it gets boring. That's happened in the past for sure. So,
well, in the meantime, you've done a bunch of artwork. You could post some of that on your walls.
Yeah, of course.
Get some,
well, now my artwork, my art is the channel too. How I edit the videos and how I try to present them, and more I want to get back into. And I wanted to say I wasn't isolated when I started World of Monsters, but I was in a way, because I was a foreigner in a country where barely anybody understands English. And I think that was part of the inspiration for me to get on YouTube as well. And now that I'm isolated kind of here in the US, I've been getting these, not flashbacks, but these feelings of my life back in a country where I was not really connected with anyone too much.
What country was that?
When I was in Vietnam.
Vietnam? Yeah,
so,
not many people speak English in Vietnam.
Right. And then that inspired me to create the channel and have the guts. And I definitely better understand that now that I'm back in the US. So yeah, guys, the things you can do in isolation, and you guys, some of you are, can take advantage of your mind. Beautiful. I love this. I'm definitely gonna check more into this. I'm really liking him. We'll have to talk about that guy from the Fantastic World, or what it's called. That chicken mentioned too, that I mentioned to her. Fantastic Planet. That's an awesome film, guys. Animated film. It's very artistic, very, in ways similar to this. Yeah, I'd want to explore that more as well. All right, I hope this inspired it. Dante, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. if I may. It's John's time to shine.
Arthur.
Yep.
Arthur, when are you interviewing John Hogan?
After we
With Tommy
interview this
Black,
guy.
of course.
And OCD, you're also an artist here. I was wondering your thoughts. You guys can. Yeah, I'm wondering.
Why
It looks very interesting.
aren't you asking my thoughts, Arthur? I am an artist too.
Yes, you are a guitar artist. What do you think, Jono?
I like it.
Okay. What do you think? OCD, what do you think?
About this guy. What's up?
Yeah.
I
I'm
think it's
actually an
brilliant.
artist as well, but I haven't showed off too much my art here. And
Right.
I do say that he's very impressive. He's a much better artist than I am. The best I can do when I would draw something that looks realistic,
Right.
it always ends up looking somewhat cartoonish.
No, and he is a good artist too. I was gonna say that, he's an amazing artist because of the concepts, maybe not the drawings, but actually his drawings, like if you look at the horse, he's a good artist all around. Realism and going to the insane, which is remarkable. What was I gonna say? Louis, he kind of made me think, Louis, if you keep doing your creations, I mentioned you should go to Etsy or an art gallery. Louis, if you keep doing your creations and go a little crazy like this guy, hey, who knows? What did you guys say on YouTube? Let me catch up with you real quick. I know, yep. Looking outside of the box, for sure. Yep, hello, Rita Mill. Am I... Okay. Wish more people were here to check this out. A lot of our common MCers aren't here today. Yeah, got a lot of jokes. Movie Ghost. Okay, opening. Codex. Ah, yes. Sorry for Italian artists. Yeah, Jono, get ready for an interview. I want you to dress monstrously.
I will wear one of my many Agalok t-shirts.
Alright. So that's it. I just want to keep going on this guy, but we got to move along. Yeah, thanks a lot for sharing this, Chicken God. What a pleasure.
He
What
is
an honor.
interesting, and so is creation.
And I'm so happy he's still alive. That it's not one of these guys you just appreciate after they die, and that's annoying in society. Yeah, very cool. Okay.
Well, it's life. We're all going to die eventually. Just the way it is.
And I asked Donde first because Donde is, he's released some of his comics and he has pretty wild stuff that I can even think remind me of this. Like even his first monster in his first comic. So shout out to Donde's comics, but that's why I wanted to hear his thoughts. As he likes to find, I know he does find obscure things like this. Well. Cool. Okay. I wish he was more well known. Well, maybe we'll try to do it. Wish I had 1 million subs. I definitely make a big deal of him. The more subs I'd have, basically, the bigger deal I'd make out of someone I love. As the less subs, I'm just less inspired because I don't think that message will go out enough. Okay, let's move along. Thanks again, Chicken God. Awesome. Your second time here and a blast. So very glad to have you. So we had a voice here. Let me choose someone without a voice. So let's go to the next one of my messages, and that's Raincrawler. Cool, Todd. He's doing Todd. Yeah, but his Kickstarter just ended. I would have shouted it out. It's funny because I think I've done something in my Kickstarter video. And yes, you guys can see me in my Kickstarter video too, talking about the tiles at the end of the video. But I think I did something nobody's ever done in the Kickstarter video because it's not good for business. I gave a little bit of a mention, a shout out to Todd Mcfarlane in my Kickstarter video where I'm supposed to only be selling myself. But I just told people that they should follow other people on Kickstarter because it's a really cool thing and way to discover other artists that Kickstarter doesn't tell you about. And I think I'm one of the, I think I'm the only one in Kickstarter kind of people history that did that. And I was shown an example of following someone on Kickstarter, and I showed Todd McFarlane's Kickstarter page, which was live at the time. So it's that's probably why I'm not rich, because I do things like that, but I don't feel bad at all. Even though Todd McFarlane is a millionaire, and we'll dig into him right now, I still think about somebody. Okay, almost done posting the images. For those of you that don't know, Todd McFarlane is the creator of Spawn. He had workings in creating Venom as well. I'll share a bit more on my opinion on him after I share. Raincrawler shares. Thank you, Raincrawler, again. Here we go. Okay, this is everything Raincrawler sent me. Let's take a look.
Fan of the McFarlane Spawn comics when he was
Rita says, I'm not very artistic, so you guys are amazing to me. My stick figures need crutches because their legs are uneven. All good. That gives them a certain charm. So Rain said, Todd McFarlane, he is a Canadian artist that drew many comics of Venom, co-creator, and he is the creator of Spawn. He also created Malbolgia, Violator, Overt Kill. Don't know that one. These are linked to the Spawn universe. He made the Spawn Haunt, the McFarlane toy line that has a lot of horror figures. Now I'm going to add in a bit more about this guy, guys. What he's done as well, how he's changed the toy industry too. Well, I don't know if changed, but influenced. Cool. He was thinking about the creator of Spawn, Ulver Krieg. There you go. Let's take a look at some images together. You guys see that? There's the Violator clown and then the demon. Such a cool story. The whole inspiration to the creation of Spawn was when this guy was working in Marvel, he was thinking that he wants to create his own comic line, but he was thinking, what's the biggest, fiercest protagonist evil you can have? Well, obviously the devil, right? When we look at our world and how we perceive things in different cultures, obviously. So, and that's what he created. And so Spawn is a person that went to hell and back and escaped or got away from the devil or, dodged the devil and now has those powers but isn't necessarily evil. He's an anti-hero sort of hero, which is always more interesting to me personally. But that's how he was inspired, to look for the biggest, those extreme, and I think that's very cool. I think that's what I would do personally. If I were at that point, I just see that my thoughts going like that as well. We talk about my boy Todd Maxi Waxy. Maxi Waxy is a new person here. Hey, let them know that we're live and they can listen to us live. Who is that? Hold on, it might be someone I know. If anybody wants to call him over here, Maxi Waxy, and let him know that this is corresponding to our live feed right here. Raincrawler also said my favorites, the Tortured Soul. Yes, Raincrawler, those are my favorites as well. Design, those are the only toy line I still want to buy, kind of, because I want to buy toys to sit around, but I don't have space and I can't share it with too many people.
Why you don't want to buy the Agalok toy line?
Goes again. So we need our jester, our ham jester. But these toys, I just love them. They're basically, there's an image. Raincrawler, you outdid yourself, although it's a little small. They're very Hellraiser reminiscent, if you know the Hellraiser movies. They just look like human bodies that are completely tortured, their skin being pulled off, there's blood cycling through this baggie. Each one is a completely tortured soul, and I love them. I remember seeing them at the stores, and now they don't sell them anymore, and this is what leads me to the next, a segue to his Kickstarter that just ended. I posted because he's on Kickstarter too, and I actually shouted Todd McFarlane's Kickstarter out in my community section on YouTube, and like I said in my Kickstarter video itself for my product. But what he did is he's releasing a new Spawn figure. Hopefully you guys can do a late pledge on it, because it just ended yesterday. He raised $3 million, a little over $3 million. And that's the power of Kickstarter. That's what I love, because he was saying he can't, stores don't want to take the Spawn figures anymore because they want big box toys and different things. Stores limit you on what you can do, obviously. So that's why he went to Kickstarter. In 1995, I think he released the original Spawn figure, and now he did a 2020 version, which is this tall one, beautiful work with real chains on it that he released on Kickstarters for only $40, with like stretch goals that he hit, like little additions, because it was funded so well. That's not bad. I mean, you can get Alien figures now for like $30. Figures are expensive now, guys. If you can get this off a Kickstarter for $40 and this big, brilliant Spawn figure, 3 different styles, a modern Spawn from the Mortal Kombat game, the classic Spawn, and then the complete just no paint on gray toy Spawn, which I kind of want to get and paint myself and make a video on it. So that's what he did, this thing. Second thing, I'm sorry guys if I'm taking over this thing, but since Rain doesn't have a voice, I wanted to push this as well. What did Spawn do with toys that was unique is there were action figure Marvel. Look at Marvel action figures and everything from the 90s, early 2000s. Nothing compares well with Todd Mcfarlane's toys, because they only had the, like, look at old He-Man toys and Marvel toys of the 90s and 2000s. Nothing much changed in their paint work. The paint was mostly in the plastic. Later, a little bit of overhand painting was done. But Todd McFarlane said, what if I can make these better? What if I can release my toys with a bit of a better paint job? And that's what he did. All his Spawn figures, Tortured Souls, have a hand-painted approach to them. I don't know how much hand-painted it is, but if you guys know what washes are, or inks, they're a thinner paint that goes into the receding points of a sculpt where it goes deeper to make those areas look darker and to make everything just look better and the detail pop. And all of Todd McFarlane, I don't know if all, but I think all of his toys had that. Spent more money or lost more money to produce beautiful figures, but that's why all Todd McFarlane, maybe not all, because that original Spawn I think didn't have that, but that was his idea. That's why I love Tortured Souls. They're beautiful, and other toy creators have been inspired by that and followed. Because remember, you will lose some money in production if you put so much detail. I don't keep going on. Angry Joe made a cool board game that relates to, putting detail to but anyway, you lose money. So most creators, big time creators, won't do that. And now you see that with the new Alien figures, new Predator figures, you will see that. And that's all, I don't know, because of Todd, but he was kind of a pioneer making cool toys and figures look better, more realistic. Huzzah to him. Awesome. This is a lot more exciting than I was expecting this has to be. I mean, his codex. Okay, let me catch up with you. It's cool, Rita. That's how I started. My favorite is the Yartalisek figure. Which one is that, Raincrawler? Let me find it out. You're the man of the show right now. Let me see which one's Raincrawler's favorite. Makes sense, Raincrawler. Now I understand your... I mean, it makes sense as a inspiration for you, looking at your artwork as well. Okay, so this is his favorite one. Yep, that's the one with the blood bag. Look how gruesome it is. Look at that. No, you can't. Let me copy it over.
Didn't Todd McFarlane also do a twisted version of The Wizard of Oz?
I don't
for like
know.
a figure.
I don't know, guys, if anybody knows the answer to that. Yeah, so here we go. Now you guys can see, look at that. You can see the pain in the face. It's very gruesome, and I know a lot of people don't like gruesome. A lot of people over-like it. I'm in the middle. I do like gruesome things in the right context. I'm not one, because I follow one Instagram person just because I'm curious, because she posts really gruesome stuff and overdoes it, but I'm just curious. I like the gruesome stuff, but I'm not nuts about it like some people. But I love these. They're the most gruesome figures you'll ever see. Have ever seen. So good. Yeah, and look at the paint job on it. I mean, it looks like it's hand painted. It's a good quality figure. You can still do it better. But good enough. Let's see. So yeah, if you guys find out anything else he did. Eating, so I watched this live stream. Cool. Thanks, Chicken God. No worries. I think that's right. Clive Barker designed the look, but McFarlane Toys produced them. Okay, so Clive Barker designed it. That's such an amazing collaboration. Clive Barker and Todd McFarlane. Damn, I need to do videos on creators. That's cool to know, Raincrawler. Thank you. Thanks for clarifying that. Also, I heard that there was going to make an animation movie in the style of McFarlane. Nice. Donde is correct. He has a lot of horror figures. Nice. Gotta run. I was going to bring up H.G. Wells because of the Island of Dr. Moreau. Cool, I'll do it for you then, Rita. Thank you. Take care, and thanks again for the support. You rock.
He also did the War of the Worlds, too.
Yep. So we'll jump into him next. Let me just...
And even the Time Machine.
Finish my spiel on Todd. One more thing I wanted to say. What else did I want to say? And yeah, you guys know he wants to remake the Spawn movie, a better version. He wants it really horrific. Like, he keeps saying, and that's what I love about Todd, too. He's so, in a way, he's cringy, but not. He's just passionate, and sometimes when you're passionate, you come off cringy, so the world's so judgmental these days anyway. But I was saying, so he was saying that he wants to make it so horrific that kids will leave the theater crying, you know? And that's just how Todd McFarlane sees things and puts things. But I like that. I like that he...
Well, if he makes it that horrific, it might not do well at all, because, some theaters will not even show filmed with an NC-17 rating.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
And he'll be doing that if he makes the video.
Yeah, and it's gonna be rated R if he does, so... it's hard for me to imagine how he can do that with Spawn, because there's just monsters and the superhero theme, except for where Spawn becomes Spawn. He goes to hell and suffers, kind of like they did with the original Deadpool movie, where he kind of suffers. That was a little bit mind-bending, I would say. Very rated R in the thematic of it. So if he goes to that point with the suffering and a skin melting, I'd like to see that, because that's what happened to Spawn. And they did show that in the first movie, which I love. I still love the first movie. It's not a great movie, but I love the movie. So last thing I wanted to say about him, if you watch how he talks on Kickstarter, to me, Todd McFarlane looks like... he looks like a kid in an adult body, living an adult life, doing adult things. He's the way he's talking, like, you guys help me fund this, so I'm gonna give you this cool sword. And he shows the sword model and he makes noises. He's like a kid would. And I absolutely love it, because he's a very successful guy. He's still much an adult, but he has that childlike passion. And I find I have that in me that sometimes I'm, I don't know, maybe a little hidden with. And not proud of, but it makes me, but then again, I'm not as big as him, so it's hard to be proud of that, but it gives you something to aspire to. It makes you think that, hey, there is this kid's side, and maybe I'm a little more childish in my approach than some people in some things, but that's not a bad thing, because that means I can just present things or create things with my way, like John Hamm. And
what are you implying, Arthur?
Todd McFarlane is very much that as well. You can see the inner child within him, and I think that's very inspiring. That's why I loved Bruce Lee. That's why I loved Crocodile Hunter. That's why I love Jim Carrey, even some things, because they very much have the soul being that they are inside very much alive. And it's hard to keep that alive in the world. I should just clip that as something. Okay, I'm still here. Good, Chicken God, because let's move on. Rita Miller mentioned H.G. Wells, which is the creator of Island of Dr. Moreau. Absolutely love it. Check out the 1990s movie, guys. It rocks. The 80s one rocks as well. There's a black and white one, too, that I need. Another
I
video.
remember the Simpson parody.
What'd you say, Jono?
I remember the Simpson did a parody of it. I don't remember if it was a comic or an episode, but they did. I remember that one.
Okay. He did War of the Worlds. What else did he do? Early on writer. If you guys don't know, the biggest prank in history, I think, still, was the War of the Worlds prank, where a narrator was reading the book over the radio, because that's what people did before they had TVs. And people started believing that that's what was happening, that we were being invaded by aliens, and thousands of people started preparing to leave New York and all this before they.
Well, I understand it was exaggerated, and it was not on purpose. He did not intend to deceive anyone.
Which makes it even better.
He did it that way.
Yeah, makes it even better. Well, it makes sense because it's not like a live stream that's saved, right? You get on the radio and you just hear something going on. It's not, you can't go back and say and see that this is a book being read. So if they get on the radio and they're hearing, well, these aliens are moving in, guys, people are going to freak, and maybe it was something new at the time. Yeah, just that's how it worked out. Not an intentional prank. Sweet, JMPF is here. Awesome to have you. You missed a little bit of amazing stuff earlier, JMPF. This is definitely one of our best.
I don't want to argue with you, but I think technically if it's a prank, it means it's on purpose. So it wasn't a prank at all.
I think so too. I'd have to look at the definition.
That included monsters.
Right.
In addition to the World of Worlds and Dr. Moreau was the Time Machine. Time Machine also had some
Time
monsters
Machine,
in
yes,
it, the
yes.
Morlax.
Very cool. Let me see. There's a movie, Time Machine, from 2000 something that a lot of people don't like. I know even here somebody didn't like it, but I like it very much. No, I don't like the Time Machine. This movie.
Like Godzilla.
Better move this along. At least I'm talking fast today. Okay, so Orson Welles was the narrator. Nice. Ooh, Google that real quick. I know. Okay. Gagmazio's going nuts. And appealing piece of
He's going nuts with Google.
Go ahead, Ande. Yeah.
Gagmazio's going nuts with ghouls and John Hamm.
He's going all ghoul here. All ghoul, it's all ghoul. That's good. Chicken God said, I'm still here. Always keep a piece of my childhood with you. It makes things more interesting and fun. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to go now. I've been enjoying this, and I was able to share, and I'm enjoyed the few other people who've been able to share now too. But I have to have my lunch pretty soon. I'm getting pretty hungry. I'm not gonna really be able to enjoy this if I'm,
Sure.
So I'll see you guys later.
Cool.
Have a nice day.
See ya, buddy.
Have a good day.
Again.
Bye.
Rain Carler said, "That's right, Louis. It's a pity that the second Torture Souls came out with a story. That is a pity. Todd McFarlane would have more to do with it, I'm sure." What else? So, Time Machine, an original writing. There's a new rendition of it. Newer one from the 2000s. It had these creatures in it that live under the ground. I love the movie because of, I don't know, the different themes in it, like the creatures under the ground that live after a long time. It related to me with a lot of conspiracies I enjoy. Just enjoy because of how out of the box they go. You guys know the underground reptilians and all. It very much related to this. There's also a timekeeper in it, which is Jeremy Irons with his beautiful voice with the white hair. excellent character. So what I wanted to say is, quick shout out to, because a monster creator I actually got to interview when I was doing the Kadawa show back in the day. Don't look for it, but it's an awesome interview. I interviewed Hiroshi Katagiri, Japanese guy who to me was the Bruce Lee of monster creature design in Hollywood because of his story. He's a Japanese guy, and he came to Hollywood. He's worked on Terminator, he's worked on Arnold, he's worked on Michael Jackson, working under Stan Winston and these big creature creators, and he designed these creatures for Time Machine, the movie, and I loved it because I always loved them because they're so ugly looking, and they're all practical effect. Mostly those creatures in the movie, they're big and bulky, and they have so much character in their face. They're not just scary, they're more scary because they have such humanoid features, but they're exaggerated. They have exaggerated eyes, the skull nose, and they're just very creepy but still brutal in the movie. So huzzah to Hiroshi Katagiri. He created several things in Hollywood, and it was a huge honor to talk to someone at that level for me. I had a big hour interview that's online. If you guys ever want to check that out. So, okay, let's move along. That was H.G. Wells. Love War of the Worlds. I did want to rewatch the old ones. I gotta say, guys, I've said it before. The new War of the Worlds movie, when the UFO first
the one
emerges.
With Tom Cruise?
Stop it, Jono. The newer one with Tom Cruise, my favorite part of the movie, probably the best part of the movie for me, for how much I enjoyed. There's some good parts, but is the beginning when the tripods first emerge. I know some people agreed with that, but who loved that scene? I simply loved it. Steven Spielberg did a gritty take on the whole movie. If you notice, the camera's not like full HD. It's HD, but it's kind of gritty. But just that thing emerging out of the ground and releasing those honks, those deep honk sounds, it's so frightening. I mean, a tornado siren alone is scary, I think. And it's just the sound. And it makes you go in imagination to what that sound can relate to. Like war sirens. But then those blaring horns. I love that. So anyway, thank you, H.G. Wells, for your awesome work. You were ahead of your time as well. It's hard to say ahead of your time. I don't like to say that too much. They were just awesome. Because when you say ahead of your time, it like limits people more in their motivation. They're like, well, I'll never be like that. No, people can be. It's just they were really creative. It's not that ahead of their time. They just...
I wish I was like
awesome.
John Hogan. I wish I had this creativity.
John Hamm's ahead of his time with...
You
gotta laugh there too.
He truly was.
John Hamm's ahead of his time in the memes for a rock star. Catch up later on the rewatch, folks. Yeah, definitely don't miss this, Louis. And JMPF, when you get a chance when we're done, rewatch the beginning of this MC. I think you'll like it. I know you're deep in all the stuff we do, but good stuff here. Okay, let's move along. Whew. I'm gonna try to cut it, guys. Every time before an MC,
Arthur doesn't want to stay with us during the after hours now.
Every time before MCs, I promise myself that I won't talk too much during MCs because I want to save it for my channel and stuff. I want to grow that, and I'm afraid of spending too much time.
You should create a Patreon, or better, an OnlyFans for the premium content, Arthur.
I'm thinking about it.
I won't pay for that, but
I know how you guys are. You support, but you also troll. So you're just one of those. I mean, you're like real life friends, basically.
You get the super premium content, but I am not going to.
I'm losing my benefits of you guys being internet friends. Now you're becoming like real life friends.
Yay!
I try to limit these, but sometimes I just get passionate.
Waiting for you to come to Italy, Arthur.
Yes, someday. I just get passionate on these topics, guys, and even when I'm tired, because I do these after I wake up. I wake up late. But I'm just passionate, and I can't shut my mouth. I just love this stuff, I love some of it. I don't love some stuff that I sit around and look at it all day. I do it for my work, too. as the channel, but once we get here, I don't know, I just lose control. So I'm sorry. I'm trying to limit myself. If you do like it, let me know. If you don't say anything. So I will try to limit myself because I think it's better for my growth, maybe. I think there's nothing passionately connecting with everyone. MPF's mouth is sealed. It's all good. You gotta love what you... Yeah, for sure. World of Monsters 2.0 coming soon, guys. I know I've been saying... Okay, I don't want to say coming soon.
What about the other
It's in the
thing?
works. Moving on. Be quiet, Jono. You're just distracting me more.
No. What about it, Arthur?
About
When
what?
is it coming?
What?
You know what?
I don't know, it's probably something John Hamm related. I don't know.
That was show 2.0 when?
I might make a
When,
video on there
Arthur?
soon, but no. Okay, where was I? Louis sent me something. One of you guys, it's your turn. Let's call out Super OCD. It's enough of my voice here. Super OCD, do you have anybody you'd like to shout out?
Oh wow, my brain's blank.
Okay. If you do, let me know. No
Bad
worries.
timing, sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. When I ramble, that's what happens to you.
It's nice to listen to.
You're losing brain cells listening to me. I've gotten those comments
Nice,
once or
nice
twice in my
experience.
history. Trolls. Love them. The monsters, I mean. I know that. You can never have enough of OCD's voice, JMPF says. Huzzah to that.
Ew.
All right. Well, OCD, let me know if you... Let me know if you do have anyone you do want to shout out anytime.
Yeah.
With that, let's move on to the next voice. Donde left, but he'll be back. Dogmazio, do you have anything for us today?
I think he said he has nothing.
I just surprised him. Why is everyone silent? Because I asked everybody to stay silent if they don't want me to talk so much. And everybody's silent, so obviously they don't want me to talk too much.
No, Arthur. I just want you to
Except Jono.
keep everything for the after hours, the real time.
It's the Morlax. Yes, Raincrawler. I met the creator of the Morlax. He sculpted them. Imagine that. And the mermaid in Pirates of Caribbean, the dead mermaid that people put up. It's I'll do another video on that too. Because people thought that was a cryptid picture. Somebody took a picture of the mermaid from Pirates of Caribbean, posted it online, and people are like, "That's fake," and they all thought it's a cryptid thing. But it was actually the sculpt for the movie Pirates of Caribbean. They just took a picture of it in the studio, and yeah.
And yet, the one from Pirates of the Caribbean doesn't even look that monstrous. I mean, if they wanted to take a mermaid to do those fake things, I mean, I would have taken some from, I don't know, some other movie like Dead Mermaid. I don't remember.
Well, the point is, it looks so real. That's why it spread so quick that this is.
Yeah, but still, it's not monstrous. It's literally an actress with a CGI tail. So.
No.
I don't know.
I'll show you. Of the Caribbean. Who likes to say Caribbean and who likes to say Caribbean? Who likes boring English American pronouncing? Who likes more syllables pronounced? And now I can't pull it up. But he can find an image. What the hell is all this like rip-off imagery showing up?
Right, I'm back.
Yay, Dante's back. There it is. Okay. So I'll just grab this image for you guys. This is a picture in the studio, but it's this image, so it's not CGI. This is, I mean, they were in the movie, some of them, but some of them were actually practical. So this
Oh.
sculpt right here, Hiroshi, the guy I talked with, interviewed, he created these. So it's just, that was my beginning of the interview, because it's just awesome that your creation can be looked upon or seen as a scripted like prank, which was not his intention. Somebody just posted, and that's what it become. That's an honor to your work. I would feel honored if people saw my artwork like that by accident. Like,
Yeah,
supposed to be
just
encrypted.
imagine someone posts an image of John Hogan and everybody just say, "Oh, what is this thing? Is it real?"
Never give up. That's why we love you. So beautiful sculpts right there, guys. Again, it was an honor. Gagmazio, I'm still waiting for you. Do you have anything
I
to
think
share?
he said earlier that he has nothing.
He doesn't. Okay, I know somebody did. I forgot who it was by now. People have dropped out too. But let's move along. Jono,
Oh, porco di.
give my voice
What?
a break. Do you have anybody real to share today?
Yeah,
Real.
yeah. Wait a second. My porco dio was related to elk hitting me from behind. That must be John Hogan. Okay, I have quite a few people.
Okay.
For today.
I think you guys can hear him all right over there, because I balanced out the microphones. Might have to lower my
Okay.
voice so you guys can turn up your audio.
The first one being quite famous, of course, it's Ichiro Honda. He is of course, creator of the big one, the Big G.
Big G, Gojira.
Yes, him.
Had to make
He
sure.
is the creator. He is the creator of Godzilla. Many other monsters, I think. Let me see. I think he directed also the first Mothra. Yeah, he directed the first Mothra movie too. But of course, he directed a lot of monster movies. The other one I have is. Wait a second. Bong Joon-ho, the director of Parasite. But okay. Wait a second. I need to find a photo.
Anybody has any questions or anything to add? John will share. Go
No.
ahead anytime.
Bong Joon-ho, a South Korean director. Before Parasite, he directed what is, in my opinion, his best movie, The
Nice.
Host.
So he didn't create the Train to Something movie, the zombie one.
No,
right?
no.
Okay,
No,
that's
he
different.
is not the director
good.
of Train to Busan.
Okay.
He is the monster.
Yeah, the host.
He said that, of course, he was influenced by Godzilla in creating it, not in shape or form, but for the message, because the monster in the host is a serious critique of American scientists and
Nice.
test shit on South Korean territory. You see at the beginning of the movie they just waste a lot of chemical wastes in the river like it was nothing.
So as an upcoming biologist, Jono, you appreciate this guy.
Yeah, I love The Host, and it's on Netflix, so you should. If you haven't watched it yet, you should seriously do.
Raincrawler likes it. Said one of the best monster movies ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Best monsters ever.
Wait a second. I have another one. I just have to find the creator.
Jono, do you remember the word for Japanese kaiju movies?
Kaiju movies?
Yeah, there's a word for it. I believe I forgot what that word is.
Kaiju movies.
No. It's a Japanese word, I think. Toho.
I don't speak Japanese either. My third one is Neville Page, as he is the creator of the monster from Cloverfield.
Nice. What else?
Looking here on internet, it seems he is also the creator of the Xenomorph from Alien Covenant, and yes, quite some other creation.
Okay.
If you
Xenomorph?
if you look on, he also is the designer of the Piranhas from Piranha 3D. So okay, nice to know.
Cool.
That's it.
Awesome. Few shares here, but you were quick to the point, so I appreciate that. Honestly, guys, there's a lot of people I'd want to feature and could, but I don't want to overdo it. Because it's just made me think of another studio and all this, but we'll move it along. There's always more, right? Every Monstercast, there's always more. A Monstercast is an artwork. It's never finished to the artist. We are all artists here of the Monstercasts, and so they are never complete. We always have more, but we have to draw the line somewhere. That should be my selling spiel to investors for the Monstercast. We are all artists here. So, thank you very much, Jono.
Don't worry, Arthur. Always a pleasure.
Anybody have any thoughts? Any other fans of these guys here? It's kind of weird because there's cool monster movies that come from Asia, like Host. I think in the future there will be more.
I mean, they do them all the time.
Do they? Are they just not?
I mean, even in America, there are a lot of monster movies. The problem is that there's no originality.
Yes.
Like they how can I say this? I mean, there are a lot of monster / ghost movies, etc. But there's never an effort in making those monsters interesting.
Exactly. That's what confuses me, Jono. Is everybody loves Host. But I think a lot of people like it too, even more. What adds to liking it? It's because it's foreign. It's, what is it, Korean, right?
Yeah, South Korea.
It's a Korean movie, and that makes fans even more passionate about it. Because if Host was released in America, I'll bet you, even with the same quality, it wouldn't be as beloved as it is coming from Korea.
I think I read that America wanted to make a remake, but unfortunately they didn't, because aside from the monster itself, the movie has, just like the original Godzilla, the movie has a very deep message.
Right.
It's not
kind of abstract.
It's not something Americans can
always do.
Just copy like it, like
exactly.
The American Wreck. What is it? Quarantine or whatever. It's literally a shot-per-shot remake of Wreck, but it's not as nearly as good.
What I think made it so good, Louis. The realism of it. You're right, and as much as Americans put down China for copying things and doing a crappy job at it, they do a lot of good jobs at it too. Hollywood's the same way, guys. Look at how many things they copy and ruin it. It's just down to the person, let's be honest here. It's down to the person and the dollar bill or other currency. Down to the money, the business of it. So, yeah, remember that. So that's the thing. I mean, it came out of there. So we have all these kaiju movies and Godzilla related from Japan, but it makes you wonder, why isn't there other... I'm sure there's a lot of low budget crap that comes out. It comes out from every country.
Half of the Godzilla movies are low budget, Arthur.
Even those, yeah. Well,
I mean, compared to American movies,
right? No, I'm comparatively talking to their own country, but I wonder why don't more? Because I know Host was expensive to produce, but it did well, and it should inspire more filmmakers.
It was expensive, but not even that much, because it wasn't. It was a South Korean / American collaboration. I mean, Parasite is the first movie since 2004 that Bong Joon-ho made without
So
any
I don't get
American
it.
collaboration.
It's either one of two things. It's a different market too. When you get into the Asian markets in other countries,
Yeah, of
you'll
course.
see the mentality too. That's more common, and it's obviously more hard. It's obviously harder for an Asian guy. I'll just speak in generalities here, to try to sell to a business an idea like superheroes and stuff, because they're very it's more old school. It's serious. Hollywood is more open to that. They have a history in it. In those countries,
Yeah.
it's going to develop slower. It's a country of old men, in as far as leadership goes, in many ends. So,
Yeah.
because I wonder, why aren't there more coming? They're good at doing it, but it's also, guys, a big part of it is funding, and that's what I like about it. Something doesn't come out of there unless it looks good.
I think
But in
it's,
America, things come out even though
a
if they're
cultural
shit.
thing.
You know?
It depends on culture. There isn't that big influence from superheroes in Japan and China, even though there are technically superhero Asian products like Dragon Ball. Basically, Dragon Ball is just Asian Marvel, but it's different. It's
Right,
different
right.
ways of representing things.
Yeah, it's that, and you got to think about the numbers too, guys, because if you look at Japan, actually Japan is very good at this. And Japan has a lot of stories. They have a lot of anime. They have a lot of cryptids. They have a lot of legends, freaky monsters, demons, all this stuff, but you don't see it on the big screen yet. I believe this is all, it's going to hit hard. Just like Marvel hit hard. There's so many new Marvel fans that came out with the movies, but it was a big deal before.
It's different. I mean, simply for people, it's, I think, harder to go with Asian movies. But it's, I tried it with my friends here. Even if they're not that much into superhero movies, I try to make them watch any Asian movie that, even if it's not a Godzilla, they like say no even before they know what the movie is about. There's this prejudice about it, at least here in Italy. I don't know there, but not the same for black and white movies.
So I think Japan has the quality. They have the expression. Japan has a lot of stuff. I think what holds them back from producing high budget movies is just that, high budget. You gotta think, when we release a movie in America, I don't like to say we on that, but when it's released in America, look at your audience. The audience isn't America. The audience is the whole world. If a country like Italy releases a movie, or Japan, their audience is Japan or Italy and the neighboring countries. It's hard to sell that and distribute it worldwide. So they need to make sure they have something they can go full forward with risking a lot of money, and they're just not into that yet.
I mean, just look at the Oscars. Even if you don't care about it, I too don't care about the Oscars, but the fact that basically, aside from best foreign movie, basically all the categories are filled with American movies only. And the fact that this year Parasite won for best movie, best director, best screenplay, and best foreign movie is one in a lifetime thing, and that's why it's so important.
Yep.
But yeah, when basically America makes movie, okay, it's fine. They can get all the awards they want because it's Hollywood, and that's where the monies are made. That's why 50% of the movie at Academy is Disney, basically. So yeah.
Yep. And it doesn't go to say, guys, that these productions are any less. I think productions in a lot of these countries, as far as acting goes, a lot of them are better, because I know the schooling that is presented in a lot of European countries. I know in Poland, Italy's probably similar. There's even courses waitresses and waiters go through. In America, you can be a waiter after high school. In these countries, there's actually courses that make you better. There's actually schooling for proper waiters. And with acting, it's the same. And yeah, I'm going to put this... No, I'm not going to put something controversial down. I was going to say something controversial about the Witcher series, but this isn't the time for it, and we've gone long enough. But I do want to say that other countries put a lot of effort into acting too, more than a lot you'll see in Hollywood movies, and big-time movies. The last Godzilla, I'm sorry. But it's down to business. It's down to funding, and it's down to risk-taking as an investor, as a businessman and woman. Yeah, I guess we answered it, or I answered my own question. Hopefully, the world's changing. The young are changing. The young are taking control of the countries, old countries like that, like Japan. I don't know how soon in the future, we'll start seeing a huge rise in monster movies and all those Japanese legend coming out in film. We already have those scary movies, but then they're redone by Americans, and they get even more views that way. But I'm talking big views from the original source.
Yeah. American remakes are stupid. I told you, it's a thing about culture.
Well, it's like you said, they're copying the visuals, but they're not copying the depth of it, like you were saying with the host. There's another meaning to it. And
also, aside from that, like
kind of
the fact that Hollywood basically lives only of remakes and sequels, that's the cancer of cinema, in my opinion. Because, a Godzilla movie... okay, I am fine with it because there have been so many in the past that's okay, but at least they try to be something new all the time. I mean, how many times have we seen Uncle Ben getting killed or Batman's parents getting killed? That's what
generic slashers
I mean.
And all that. That's why, I love the ideas of Jason and Freddy Krueger, but for me to watch all those movies is very hard. They're very boring to me. They're
corny. Okay, they're corny 80s movie, but they were made in the 80s. So we were talking about Friday the 13th a few months ago with Pro. We both agree that the movies are legit bad because they're bad movies. But it's that corny. I mean, we both like it. But
it has a certain charm to
it. It has its flaws, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But
all right, guys.
The problem is that they still make slasher movies or ghost movies, or what I think about all those movies about infested houses, etc. Basically.
Yep.
Fuck.
All right, guys.
It's just there's no originality anymore.
Again, there is, but that's not what sells always. I totally. By now, I understand what's going on in Hollywood. I understand what it's like presenting and who you're going to be presenting your idea to. There's a lot of originality. We see it all over the internet. It's just
because.
To an older business guy, he's not going to.
It's a different kind of audience. I mean, the problem with Hollywood is, of course, they have to, since they spend a lot of money on making movies, they also have to appeal to a large amount of audience. That's why they keep making these ghost movies, because even teens go watch it. Just imagine
it's a quick sell.
It's
like putting arrows and boobs on your thumbnail.
The Human Centipede. Just imagine the Human Centipede, but with the budget of Avengers Endgame. I mean, how many people will go to the theaters to watch it? I mean, the Human Centipede hasn't even been released in Italy. I had to buy the DVD from the UK.
Oh.
So yeah, that's also a problem.
I don't know if that was the best example there, Jono, but we get your point. And guys, we speak a lot in generalities. I even mentioned that to Gog, but then we were talking, we blame on Hollywood because of what Hollywood as a whole. But remember, there's a lot of good creators in Hollywood. A lot of good stuff comes out. A lot of crap comes out. it's down to those people that have money but don't have the head for it. That's what it's down to, you know, wherever they are in the world, and there's a lot of them in Hollywood with a lot of money and a lot of influence on the market. Do they have it in their head? No, but they have it in their bank. So remember, careful when you say Hollywood, because Hollywood has done cool stuff, or things in Hollywood. Hollywood is a part of a city. It's a district. You know, it's not Universal Studios or Fox. That's the people behind those is who to blame. A quick little controversy, a little battle here, or just a quick thing I like to shoot out here so people can put a poll up. Me and Louie were talking here. The movie The Mist by Stephen King's writing. Who liked the movie's ending? Who didn't? Louis said he didn't like the ending. I said I did.
Wasn't it a TV series?
Yes, they made a TV series too, and I saw a little bit of it. So what do you guys think? The Mist movie, if you have seen it, did you like the ending or not? Don't spoil it.
Yes. I absolutely loved the ending.
Me too.
The fact that it's
The shock was
so,
great.
you know, it's so how it is. That's why I love it.
It's
very, very bold, to the very least.
That's why I want to hear, Louis, why you didn't. Is it because of what it was, or was it because of how it was shown in the movie? I can get that more, but I like that shock and depressing.
Just like the Descent, the European ending, because we all have to remember that there is no The Descent sequel.
What are you saying? What movie?
No. What I think of the Mist ending is the same thought about the Descent ending, the European one, of course.
The European.
We all know that there is no Descent sequel.
What European one? Is there another?
Yeah, the movie has two endings. I thought you know it. There was the non-canon ending where she survives, and the canon ending where she basically has just a vision and she ends up trapped in the caves.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I see. Well, the movies, because you were saying European ending. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, because the US is the ending where she survives, and Europe had the ending where she dies.
What do you mean Europe had the ending, though? I mean, it was produced by the US,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, the movie is a British movie. They shot two endings.
Oh, really? So the US edited a different ending?
Yes.
Oh,
that's why
that's America.
The sequel is American only. I mean, it never came in Italy, for example.
It worked out because well, look, they did it because you can have a sequel. That's why Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Freddy Krueger movie, the first one has two endings. A hint of Freddy Krueger at the end, and one with a happy ending. American or whatever, the one they showed for theaters is the one with a hint of Freddy Krueger at the end on top of the car. Why? For business, because they can make sequels, and they have done 9 movies since. Was it a good business move? Yes. Was it a good story move? No. Descent, the same thing. If it would have ended there, they wouldn't have had another movie, and they would have not gained that amount of money. And the second movie, I enjoyed it. I'm not going to compare it with the first. I'm going to say with itself, it's still cool. They showed a lot of the crawlers. I enjoyed that. But,
there is no Descent sequel.
There you go. So anyway, The Mist, we heard your thoughts on that. I do like the movie, just not the ending. It is depressing, Louis. If you guys like depressing endings or dark endings, I always shout this one out. Watch In the Mouth of Madness. In the Mouth of Madness. I think Clive Barker. Moving onward. Let's see. We had this Jono just shared. JMPF, what you got for us? We're moving along today. We're moving quickly. We're just going on for a long time. We got a lot of things to do and share, but we're moving along very smoothly. One of the best monster casts ever.
I just realized Pro hopped on.
I saw that. I'm going to see if he has something to share. If not, we'll go on to the next after, I think, JMPF here. I'm gonna check out Louis. Oh yes, Louis shared earlier. Thanks for reminding me, Louis. I probably would have missed that in all this monstrous commotion. Well, I was passed out. Nice. Ova Krieger passed out. Anyways, the host is a movie I've been trying to remember for years. Nice. There you go. That's why we do this. JMPF. I don't really like the ending, but the concept is so twisted that is cool. Cool, JMPF. JMPF, do you have anybody to share today? I'm guessing you don't, or you're getting ready.
Yeah, I have bodies waiting a little bit.
Not sure what he said there. Okay, he's typing out something. We'll go on. Let me ask Pro, by the way. Pro, do you have anything you wanted to share? Anybody? Any creator or not?
He doesn't. He doesn't.
He doesn't. Okay. Thank you, Jono.
He just came here to ditch on us.
Yeah, well, it's all good. Let's see here. JMPF says, Mark. Okay, guys. Whew. Losing my voice. Being secluded at home, not talking to anybody much, and then doing these crazy Saturdays is very black and white for my throat. Mark Crash McCreary can be considered, ooh, nice, somebody new, be considered a real big person of illustration and concept art. With 30 years of experience in the film industry, his artistic prowess led him to win scholarship at the Art Center College of Design at Pasadena, where he obtained the BFA in illustration. His first work was done on Predator 2, Huzzah. Jono has a problem with that one. We need to kick him around. Directed by Stephen Hopkins. He then collaborated on other major films such as Edward Scissorhands, Huzzah, Terminator 2, Huzzah, Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park: The Lost World, Batman, oh, okay, The Lost World, Huzzah, Huzzah, Batman Returns, Huzzah, Interview with a Vampire. Ooh, he did the Mandela effect right there, JMPF. He did the Mandela effect. It's Interview with a Vampire, not the vampire. That's one of the biggest stupid Mandela effect things. Louis, and you just mentioned Mandela effect over there. See what happens, Louis? The Relic, nice. And Pirates of the Caribbean. But the list could go on and on. Damn, this is a serious concept artist. See, these are the heroes, guys. Like the drummer in the band. He never gets that recognition, but he keeps the rhythm moving. This guy...
Of course, I love Agalok, drummer.
You're sick. This guy, look, you've never seen his face. You've never heard his name. He's been involved in all these huge projects as the concept artist, the root creator. Concept artists, guys, I appreciate wholeheartedly because they are the brainstormers. They put this to work. And the writers, too. So sometimes it's this one, sometimes that one, but usually, and then they collaborate. The concept artist is where the idea is born. The next person is less of an artist in a sense that they're not creating it as much anymore. They're giving it their touch, the sculptor, the designer, but it's already been found. So that is the original artist, the concept artist. So this is the man. Again, many people out there I'd want to shout out, but this guy should be on the news. This guy should be all over the place. When he dies, we should have a bunch of cool collage videos for these people, you know, not just the Robin Williams and others, which are greats too, but people as look at that, the T1000 right there. She is from, she's the maid. I forgot that movie title maybe. This guy's from this was Stan Winston's studio that did all this stuff too. So this guy worked under Stan Winston. This was in Toy Soldiers, is that right? Toy Soldiers was awesome, guys. Was it Toy Soldiers? The action figures that are so well developed that they do all of that stuff. Awesome little family movie. Ooh, this spiny guy is awesome. Pirates of the Caribbean. Predator. So you got the awesome City Hunter Predator. with the cool reptilian markings. So you know the original Predator from the first movie, well, the second movie, he's the one that made the Predator look even cooler with those stripes on its flesh and stuff, because the original didn't have that. So you can thank this guy. War hyena looking guy. I've seen that somewhere too. I can't recall. As you guys see the link, it's Stan Winston. Thank you, JMPF. This guy is a... See, this is what I like to share here. This guy's not obscure. He's not small scale. He is huge. You don't get much bigger than him as a concept artist, but nobody knows his name. That's also what I wanted to see in these bats. And the creature from the... forgot the name. Watched that movie recently. I tried sending him out. Send me an error message 2 times. No worries, JMPF. Thank you for sharing. Who wants to say anything on behalf of this guy? What's his name? Mark McCreary. Crash. Nickname Crash. Mark McCreary. We've all seen McCreary's work.
Another one came to
Relic.
my mind. Can I do a shout out?
Sure. Louis doesn't like sad endings. Gotcha, Louis. Mouth of Madness isn't as sad, but it's as insane. So it probably won't be as bad for you. But I get it, Louis. I do like the movie, just not the ending. There must be a glitch in the Matrix, right? With the effect, the Mandela effect. You're powerful, Louis. Gotta hand it to you. Amazing work. For sure, Raincrawler.
Artur.
Yes, share it. Go, Jono.
Can I make a shout out?
Yes, we're waiting for you.
No, good.
All of us.
Okay. To the Chad artist himself, Mr. Gustave Doré. Yes, an illustrator, British illustrator. He did illustrations for Goethe Faust, the Divina Commedia, a lot of other books from
Maybe
the
even some
earlier
maps.
centuries. These are
Awesome.
just some of the many monsters he has designed.
What era is he from? What time period?
He's from the 19th century. He was born in 1832.
Okay. We're going back again. Sweet. Love it. This is the guy, guys. This is when you look at, I don't know if it's him, but when you look at those old maps and all that, and you see the funky looking creatures, it's artists like this guy. All those lions that look kind of humanoid in the face, that's probably this guy too. One of the first creature drawers and concept drawers of what people describe and what illustrations describe. This is the man. It makes me think of a little bit of Chicken God's artwork. Awesome, and she did comment that she likes it. Yep, I feel a relation there in the approaches. Because they're very organic, they're very squiggly. Nothing's, I don't know, it's very organic, but yeah, it's otherworldly, and for us it's very classic looking because this is what we grew up seeing, and we see in old texts, old devils being drawn like this. It's awesome. I love seeing modern artists that are inspired by these artists and recreate their own artwork, their own style and creations, but in these kind of looks of somebody very classical and old. Because a lot of modern artists do an amazing job like that these days. Actually, Chicken God's a little bit like that. She's a little bit reminiscent in her work. Stuff like that, as well as just grittiness, like you'd see in the All Real Monsters back on Nickelodeon. Stuff like that. Cool. Thank you, Jono, for that shout out. I like to see the guy's face behind that, those images that I've seen. I think I've even stolen a picture of the Kraken that probably he drew, the Kraken. That's the man.
No, I don't know.
What's his name?
If he drew that. I don't think. Let me search. No, he didn't.
What's his name?
Gustave Doré.
Gustavo. All right.
But he drew this one for 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Still my fave illustration of his.
Let's see if
Nice.
you can guess why, Arthur. If you find why, I don't know, give you a watermelon.
The favorite one?
Yeah.
Can I
Why
make
I like it that much.
I can give you a very good guess. It's on an Agalok album cover. Am I right?
Am I yeah.
So predictable. At least you admit it. And that's why it's your favorite. All right, well, fair enough. That's cool then. I wonder if you found out because of this about this artist because of Agalok.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, some others band
Good for
use
Agalok.
illustrations, like Dimmu Borgir's first album use one of his paintings. Yeah, I knew of him through Agalok.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, there we go. Good job, Agalok. You did something right. Let's see. Cross-hatching is just a cool texture, says Chicken God. I'd want to see your work with more cross-hatching to it. I think, yeah, you've done a little bit. I saw hints, but I don't want to see a full rendering. That'd be kind of cool. I'm sure you have some already done. Cross-hatching's awesome. It can just be very time-consuming. Well, cross-hatching's not that time-consuming. What is, though, is dotting. If you do dots. I don't know if you guys ever did this. I did this in art class before. Where for shading, you do dots. So where something's going to be dark, you just have more dots, very dense dots to where it's black. And where it's bright, there's less dots until there's nothing. So dotting instead of cross-hatching, which is lines. Very time-consuming, but looks very cool in the end. And it's not crazy time-consuming. Actually, it isn't. I thought, it is because you're doing dots. But when you're shading, that's very time-consuming too, because you don't just shade something and you're done. You keep going over and trying to make this better and this. In cross-hatching, you don't. It's more like a coloring book. You have your layout, and then you know where to dot. And once your dotting's done, you don't go back to that area, usually, like with shading. So it's not necessarily that much more time-consuming, especially over time. You couldn't have the patience for dotting. Let's see. Okay, let's move on. I guess Pro, we already asked him. That's everybody. Gagmazio, I think, left at the time. Gagmazio, if you do have something to share. No, I asked you, but I don't know if you were here. Go ahead. I have one more thing that Louis shared. Here it is. Let me get into the images. Thanks again, Louis. And Louis shared somebody I think of right away. This is one of the #1 people, although we have shared monster creators many times here on the Monstercast, and I've shared mine. I've shared this guy quite a few times, honestly. Whenever I think of a monster creator, somebody that's influenced me a lot too is this guy, and that's H.R. Giger from
Who doesn't love Giger?
Switzerland. And Louis said, the monster creator I bring to the Monstercast today is Hans Rudi Giger, better known as H.R. Giger, or as Americans like to say, Geiger, but actually Giger originally. His artwork came from his dreams or nightmares. It consisted of biomechanical structures and beings. Some looked sexualized, but all looked fused as part of the structure themselves, and sculptures did the same. Good wording, Louis, because that's what they were. You look at... Can somebody post Giger's work here so I can keep reading this and not being distracted? Post some of his cool lithographs and stuff. That's the thing with his artwork. You'd have a form, but everything somehow blends in together. The biomechanics, it didn't have to make sense. Kind of like the book Chicken God shared. Awesome. Thank you, Chicken God. Kind of like the book she shared. It doesn't have to be rational. It doesn't have to be logical. I think these days art is too logical, too rational, because everybody's trying to get to Hollywood and games. And even my art contests, I look for creature concepts and things like that and we like logic because we like to go with realism. The realism sells. It's what people need when they want to hire an artist for a project, usually in media, but they don't hire somebody abstract. But in your own artwork, you can be as abstract and non-making sense as you want. And if you see his artwork, it doesn't make sense. It's hard. It's very alien because to us, it doesn't have to make sense. But we can go to another planet, another dimension or reality, see this, and it will make sense. It doesn't have to us, but it still can. And if you can make something look like that, then it works, like that other artist. If it just looks like nonsense in any realm of thought, then maybe it's just too abstract, or you didn't present it well enough. You're not a professional enough artist, experienced enough. You can make something look otherworldly that's totally insane, but in some reality it makes sense. You've succeeded. So there you go. Let me finish reading what he wrote. The surrealism in his paintings looked like photographs, and people would question him of the location of the places the picture was taken from. His most iconic creation was made from Desing his book Necronomicon, I think, and Creature the monster from the movie Alien, the Xenomorph, also lesser known human alien hybrid of the movie Species. Yeah. So there you guys have it, the original artwork. It surprises me because I bring up H.R. Giger here and still a lot of people in our group, our small group here, don't know who that is, and that blows my mind. Because one of the few monster creators you should know is this one. That's why I didn't want to bring him up today, because I think he's too already well known. So I wanted to bring up someone lesser.
I wanted to talk about him, but I was like, yeah, I mean, everybody knows about
exactly. Giger. And we brought him up. He was, at his time, what made him big is he was depressing. His artwork is very dark. It's very alien, but it's very dark too, because he has like a penis thing and it's very sexual. You see even the original Xenomorph, before it was a Xenomorph, had like this schlong thing going over its head.
I mean, if I remember correctly, in order to make the Xenomorph's mouth look that sticky, they used condoms.
Interesting.
To make, the saliva, etc.
Mm-hmm. You're right, in the movie. So this guy was, and I don't want to get in too much, but I want to share it because it's close to me and I have something that connects with all this, a real thing. And I mentioned it before. I was very excited. Chris was here too. I showed it on camera. I have a book from a friend here, a pretty wacky older friend of mine here, that is into electromagnetics and different stuff. He's been all over. He's worked in the Pentagon government, and he's worked for artists, resetting their house, electromagnetic energy flows. He's interesting because he doesn't just talk a lot of weird stuff where you're like, okay, he's just nutty, because he had some mental issues too later, because of a stroke, or not a stroke, another thing. But he worked for an artist, Bob, Robert, forgot his name. I have his book, and he got the book from that artist. He has that signed book, and I have it now because he gave it to me. This guy has passed on. This guy is actually Colorado-based here. He does very much art like this, but not so dark, just very otherworldly. I have his book with his artwork. I showed it before. He met Giger. He met Salvador Dali, another name I'm shocked that you guys don't know. If you go to any art school, you will learn about Salvador Dali. And Salvador Dali was the first extreme surrealist. Yeah. He got very famous, very rich from it. It's not one of those artists that got rich later. No, he was very eccentric, very egotistical, very, very full of himself. But he did awesome art. He has a big house out there. Now it's a museum. I could tell you more about Salvador Dali when they gave him this rich guy gave him an expensive car, and he just kind of made a mockery of it. That was Salvador Dali. And Robert, actually, the guy I have the book, the signed book, he met Giger. He introduced Giger to Salvador Dali. After Giger met with Salvador Dali, I don't know exactly the timeline, that's when Giger exploded. That's why he got his connection to America. That's when America and Hollywood discovered Giger. I'll make a video about this. I think this is not well-known stuff out there. And they discovered him and said, your creations would be perfect, would work for our new movie. And Giger, let's face it, he made Alien, the movie, successful. Who knows? I mean, they would have come up with probably a cool alien design, but how many times it's a flop? You know, it's such a small chance, such a big chance that something can go right or wrong, you know? And they chose somebody with a very specific vision, Giger. He went to Hollywood and worked with them, learned some more English. But it was Robert that introduced Giger to Dali. Dali liked Giger's work. And there you have it. And Dali, guys, is like before in time. He's like, it's just cool. These artists all meet, and I think they met in France, because that's just a huge hangout spot for artists. The French, to go there, rent a house out, and do your thing. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed that. Speaking of H.R. Giger, a new trailer for Scorn was recently released. Scorn. What is Scorn again? Is that the game? Is it the one around? It's not the Dead Space influenced one, is it? No, it's not. Oh yeah, I saw this. Right. Looks amazing. All H.R. Giger, guys. Had a big influence on me as well. Let's move forward. So thank you for that, Louis. And he did pass away a few years ago. And the awesome thing he left behind again, just like the artist Chicken God mentioned, he didn't just create cool art. He made a whole cafe in this style. And that's one of the places I want to go to before I die. And probably vlog it for the channel, is go to H.R. Giger Cafe in Switzerland. The Xenomorph Cafe.
Yes.
If you guys can put images of that.
That's such a virgin country. Just go a bit south from Switzerland.
But the whole thing, guys, the whole walls of the cafe, every chair, every table is all artwork by Giger. You're sitting in his work. And that's what an artist should do. If you love your stuff so much, I'm just happy somebody like him could do that, because that's my dream. I'd love to have a whole cafe. I'd love to have a whole house completely 100% done as an artwork, just every touch of it. I think that's...
Yeah, just imagine.
He got his chance.
John Hogan tables. The John Hogan pictures.
With his face and ponies. It's so disgustingly ugly. But it could make sense. We should collaborate it with that artist Chicken God mentioned. It could work. Chicken God, since you're kind of new, Jono, the player moderator here, he's a big fan of a band called Agalok and the singer in it, and he loves the memes behind him because he's kind of goofy, the guy, but he just loves the band so much. So he brings up John Hamm. That's not the person's name in our group. That's the name that he follows. He's a big fan of him, John Hamm. John Hamm, we call him John Hamm. And in everything ever...
I mean, his real name is John Hamm. I remember you at.
So that's why this member in our group keeps bringing up John Hamm. It's kind of his joke, and people eventually have all gotten on board. We even did whatever, I'm spending too much time not mentioning the episode. It wouldn't want to mess it up. I wouldn't want to mess it up. Scared to eat on top of a table. Right. Yeah, I want to see how it's constructed, that whole cafe, because it's all functional, so it's all done strong. I mean, it's got concrete and everything supporting. I'm just wondering what materials he used to make a table like that and chairs. I love it. I love it. I do my whole room here, my studio, as a monster room instead of using CGI backgrounds and green screen. I told OCD last time. But I live in an apartment. I'm not going to customize it here. As soon as I get a house. Hope I'm just young enough and inspired enough to still do it when I do. Okay, guys, we're done with everybody's shares. I'll share a couple. Okay, I'll do a shout out.
Go.
Oh, Donde. Ah, yes, because you were gone. Donde, thank you for reminding me. Go ahead, Donde.
All right. Well, I have 3 because I couldn't decide which one to pick, but they'll go fairly quick. The first one is Richard Corbett.
Okay. Oh, he's posting. All right.
He's a comic. He started off as an artist, and then he went into making comics, underground comics later on in his life. And this is the stories right here he wrote and was The Clown, which was, I think, featured in his Shadows on the Grave books miniseries that he did not too long ago. But he also made a short story called Den, which had a bunch of aliens and other creatures that was featured in Heavy Metal magazine and then went on to be in the Heavy Metal movie.
Nice. Awesome creations. That's the beautiful 90s right there. Heavy Metal. Do you own a lot of the magazines, Dondi?
I don't own any of them.
Oh, damn. We need to get you some. They still produce them, I think. If anybody doesn't know Heavy Metal, awesome magazines here in the States. Thick magazines, they had a lot of concept art in them, a lot of mentionings of artists, and a lot of small scale, well, unknown artists' comic strips in them. There's a lot of nudity, there's a lot of warriors, a lot of monsters in them, and it's just a thick magazine. It's not cheap. It's been around for a while. It's very inspiring because in the 90s, you didn't have that much on Google and all. Now you Google something and you see so much cool stuff. You can Google rock skeleton and find amazing rock skeleton paintings and images. Back then, you just had Heavy Metal and magazines like that, and it's still going. It's not going strong. I never hear much about Heavy Metal or see it at stores, but it's still there. But it's a great. What I love about Heavy Metal too is it shout outs all the smaller artists. It gave a lot of artists recognition and exposed a lot of them in a good way. Give them proper exposure. Go on. Sorry, Donde. So this is the fellow.
Yeah, so that's the picture. And he did art for a lot of movie covers as well. I think I was the Spookies.
Nice.
And other stuff. I do have a couple of books that he self in his own publishing company. They're somewhere in my room. I don't know where they're at. The next person that I want to talk about was someone that I discovered by accident, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. It's called Kazuo Imuzu, I think, and he does horror manga like Junji Ito, but he's not well known as Junji outside of Japan.
Okay.
And the one thing I ran into him was through a adaptation of, I think, some of his stories. Was The Curse of Kazuo Muzu, or Muza. I'm pretty sure I'm saying it wrong. But yeah, he does have a lot of horror and monsters artwork. I'm going to try to pull some up right now.
Would you say that first guy you showed is one of your biggest influences or inspirations?
Not really. I kind of ran and discovered that person, I think, by accident.
Okay, so later on.
While looking up another artist. And then I just kind of really liked their artwork, their traditional paintings. They have a couple of short movies that are on YouTube for you to see that he made. I think one of them was for his final project for university work. And then another one was a personal project he did later on.
Cool. Well, you can definitely see his touch. I asked because I know, like, with your illustrations, again mentioning this, but you have a certain look to your people, you know, and which is good. Everybody does in the end. But in the end, you start to see things repeat. You start to see Japanese looking animation people. You start to see people Disney style. Now we know what Disney looks like. But your people have this kind of quirky look to them, and that's why I was wondering, because I could see that even a little bit in this guy's work as well. Different, but I could see it relationships in the illustration style. Can you post anything from Kazuo? Umezu?
It's loading right now, but my internet's really.
Gotcha. Nice. So very dark stuff too. These Japanese concepts are from these Japanese artists.
I think when he started he did his first manga while he was in high school, and then he decided he would work on that. An interesting fact about Kazuo is that his house actually looks like his shirt. It's like very colorful. He always wears a red and white striped shirt.
Oh, I see. Cool. So that's his theme. Nice. Looks like
a chunk of his stories usually focus on younger people, like from kids to young teens or preteens. So a lot of the stories evolve around them.
Cool.
Including that movie that I saw that was based off of his stuff.
And who's the last guy you posted? Stephen Gamel?
The last guy was actually Nasimo, who's well known for drawing the drawings for the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark books.
Story. Yeah.
So he has all these very surreal, monstrous-looking creatures and drawings. And the one posted below is actually from one of his other works outside of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. So he does a lot of surreal-looking things with graphite, watercolor, and.
Cool. So that's the man right there. I never saw him.
Yeah. He's was one of my inspirations going into artwork.
Yeah, for sure.
Specifically, and also sort of got me addicted into the Scary Stories books because of those illustrations.
Yes. Yeah. Let's admit it. He made those books. Without seeing that cover and those little glimpses in each story, it would be a different booklet. Yeah, he was definitely one of my childhood people. You'll remember the rhyme from the first or second book, which was not rhyme, but the short story, which was O'Leary is dead and O'Reilly don't know it. O'Reilly is dead and O'Leary don't know it. They both are dead in the very same bed, but neither one knows that the other one's dead. That's from one of those books. I'll never forget it because I presented it in my class. No, I didn't. I presented the new one. Huzzah, Donde. Love it because they just released, and I bought it. I just bought the digital version. A book like this, inspired by him. I don't know if he did the illustrations. I think he did on Kickstarter. I know I mentioned it before. Have you seen that, Donde?
I'm not sure. I don't think I did.
You know what? If I forget, remind me. I'll send you the digital copy, maybe. I mean, yeah, I can send you the digital book. Because I didn't buy the physical one, but it was it was a Kickstarter fully inspired by these scary storybooks, and that's what they created, a new one like that with the same style of illustrations, and they're very similar. So I think it was him that worked on them, but I'm not sure. But now that I know his name, I'm gonna check that book. Yeah, Stephen Kamel. Cool, right on. I'll say it quick because that image made me think of Attack on Titan, the anime manga. Japanese made a movie of Attack on Titan. It sucks, but I kind of like the effects of it because to me, I think the idea of Attack on Titan is very frightening. They show it very frightening in the movie, in the comics. I guess I'm going to take a risk and say I'd like to see an American redo of that movie because the Japanese one sucks. Nobody likes it. But the anime is great. So, but the Americans will screw up the story and stuff. But I'd love to see a horror-filled. You don't see horror with giants. Other than the original Godzilla, when do you see a horror movie that has kaijus or giants? Everything has to be small and creepy and freak you out and scare you.
Cloverfield, Arthur.
A Cloverfield. Yeah, that was one. Okay, that's why there's a lot of fans on that, and that's exactly why, because that's what it was. But that's one, that comes to mind in recent years. Attack on Titan, I think, it's really creepy. They're huge. To make something big and creepy is a challenge. Because usually creepy is human-sized or smaller, but to make something gigantic and creepy, not scary only, but creepy, that is a challenge. And I think Attack on Titan does it really well. I'd love to see whole movie Attack on Titan. So creepy, just titanic people that have a little bit of exaggerations to them, but look human enough for you to relate to, and so they look scary enough because of that for you to creep you out. Okay, Cloverfield and the Host come to mind. Yep, we talked about Host earlier too. So yeah, that's one, but it's not huge. You said it during the Monstercast earlier, the Scary Stories one 2 years ago. Yep, I know. I did mention it. Also, perhaps Shin Godzilla. Yes, Shin Godzilla is another one, but that's more of an existential dread kind of thing. It's not too horror-ish. It still has this realism side to it, but definitely more horror-ish than Godzilla of America.
Well, the first Godzilla isn't even horror. I mean, well, of course, still depends.
Right.
It's more of a tragedy.
Yes.
If you
Good
want.
word. Keyword tragedy. Hashtag tragedy. I think, Jono, you're a brilliant expression of tragedy, aren't you?
My life, yes, he does.
It's so dark. Life's not that bad. It's just, well, you know what it is. It's us. It's ourselves. You're not tragic. Here is monster that could be in a horror movie. Yep, I love these little animations of the giant coronavirus beings walking through the cities and battling. There's some awesome animations of that on the Instagram. Okay, guys, since everybody has gone, Louis gave a shout out to Edmonds and Jordu Shell. They make monsters year round to make the Halloween season more enjoyable. I love those guys. I heard about them on a TV show making monsters. Awesome. I got two more, Louis. Two more that. One was the first person to ever comment, I think, on my channel. He makes monsters for Halloween scary houses in Texas. Cool guy. What's his name? I'm so bad with names. Of course, I'm not going to think of the name now. So many things are going through my head. But he's there. So shout out to him. Another guy up in Greeley here makes monsters for Halloween. Big monster props. Big ones. For like thousands of dollars. And he does it like 2 hours away from me. 1 hour. Maybe I'll visit that studio someday. And he does have a cool YouTube channel as well. Okay, guys. I wanted to... I'm going to mention mine. Well, I'm going to present mine. Not so long. Don't worry. And then I want to give a quick mentioning of Stan Winston Studios. It's a huge one. It's the biggest one, maybe. I'd say it's the biggest one. One of the artists, where was I? Ah, yes, I'm looking for my thing. Oh, that's, what did I want to say? Stan Winston, guys, Stan Winston Studio is the one that worked on Terminator 2, that worked Pirates of the Caribbean, Time Machine, Predator, Michael Jackson, Werewolf, Catwolf, Werecat, all that stuff, all the big box movies. That was Stan Winston Studio. The guy I mentioned earlier, the artist I met with that created a lot of stuff, got to meet these great people, was Hiroshi Katagiri. He worked in Stan Winston Studio. The artist, somebody here, I forgot who mentioned earlier, also worked in a studio. So Stan Winston Studio, that's the big one. I don't need to shout that out. But I just wanted to give an update because Stan Winston's been dead for a few years now. There's some great pictures of Stan Winston and Arnold. Let me show you one, actually, just so you guys... I think you might recognize his face. Stan Winston. I don't know if Stan Winston was just a puppeteer or concept artist or sculptor himself, but he is the man behind all this. Everything went through Stan. Let me show you cool. He's got a lot of pictures with Arnold, some with Arnold behind him, flexing his arms so it looks like it's his arms. But Stan seemed like a really cool guy, especially in a phony world like Hollywood. A lot of fake people, a lot of rich people. Stan seemed genuine. There's some genuine people, believe it or not, in all places of our world. Clock is ticking. What does that mean, JMPF? So that's Stan Winston right there. That's the man, guys. Jurassic Park, those dinosaurs. No, they're awesome. You can have your sayings about the reality of them, but they were awesome. That's Stan. Everything went through him. He's passed away some time ago. Now his son runs the studio. I forgot his name. Something Winston. I'm subscribed to their YouTube channel, Winston Studio. They have a lot of courses you have to pay for. This is professional, right? The biggest probably creature creation, special effects, practical effects studio in the world, I think. And his son keeps running it, and his son does a good job because he... I just watched a video a couple of days ago. It was a celebration of Jurassic Park because it's been something like 20 years or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, or 30 years since Jurassic Park came out. So they did a 1 hour long just sit around and celebration of Jurassic Park, and he was sitting and interviewing the different artists. And that's what Stan Winston's son does. He's a puppeteer. He works in the studio, but he interviews all these guys. And that's cool. He's not as great as his dad in some facets, but I like it that he has a YouTube channel. He talks to the artists, he interviews them, great people, and he does it in a humble way too. So I just wanted to say that Stan Winston's son is continuing the studio and continuing presentation of it on YouTube, and I do think you should subscribe to the Stan Winston Studio channel. So that's a mention, because he's not the main person I wanted to mention, because that's a huge deal. That's not obscure. The one I wanted to mention today is somebody I just found, by the way, and I wanted to give them attention. Here, I only really shared this artist with Pro, because Pro was online one time, and I showed him, and I was like, Pro, check this guy out. And when you search for concept art as much as I do, and see all that beautiful splendor, all that eye candy, monster eye candy, some tends to stick out more than others eventually for you. So here's mine. It's nothing too, what's the word? Abstract, like some of the artists we had. Why is this not loading? Let me reload this so I can get the big images to you guys. Okay, there we go. What stuck out for me is if you look at the first monster I created by him. I mean, when I do my art contest, let's face it, this is what I look for, right? As a 10 out of 10, like totally winning the contest, you know. But you can do abstract stuff too, so I don't want to dissuade that. But when I talk about realism and monsters, this is kind of, you know, it. I mean, it's not just this guy. There's thousands of artists like this and better than this guy in other facets such as 3D sculpting. But like, look at the first image I posted. What animal do you see as a huge inspiration in that monster? You should be able to see it immediately if you know the animal. Can anybody tell me? That first one, the black and white one. What animal do you think inspired that image? Looks like a wolf, says Louis.
A skunk?
A skunk? A little. There's something even more specific. Yes, Gagmazio got it. This is what I see a lot in his work. A honey badger. If you guys know what a honey badger page. This is what, for those of you that don't know what a honey badger, I love honey badgers. One of such an amazing creature. There's a very funny video on YouTube somebody made, YouTuber, about honey badgers. But they are, the more you learn about a honey badger, the more just amazed you will be. And I love the whole weasel family in the animal kingdom. That's a honey badger. You can clearly tell it inspired this creature. You know, even from the siding of it, the little bit yellowish siding to the white on the sides, you got it in here as well. That's why I love his art, because in his monstrous creations, they're not just random creations. They are you can very much see them, the influence in them from creatures here. And that's what a good artist does as well for creature creation. Let me post more. He's got a ton. If you guys are watching me live, which, like you did Chicken God, that's a good idea to watch these shows live so you can see, by the way, where I'm going here on Google Images. So that's from getting them. Let me close Arnold here. And close this out. So I just found this guy recently, and it's nothing huge. I don't know much about him. He's just another artist out there, really. It's another amazing artist that I thought, you know what, I'll present here because his artwork was good enough to where I wanted to see more from him. Which is rare, because I see a lot of monster art and something amazing, and I'll see something amazing and use it for my video, but I never care to be like, well, I wonder who that is. I wonder what other things he's done. But when I saw this guy, and then I saw another similar image, and I'm like, damn, that is cool. They look like what you see of dinosaurs, but completely fantasy. You know, you see amazing dinosaur illustrations and animals, but they all have a rooting somewhere. But this guy, it's like, it looks to that quality, but it's completely original. He's just a concept artist. And I think his work is brilliant. I think his creatures aren't just creative, but they have character. You look at the faces. You can see if it's smart, if it's sentient, if it's just brutal. You know, like this last creature. I can very much see a dog even in the face of that creature. Is very, very influenced by animals. And you know, I love animals. So I could very much see this like a whole book of zoology. I'd love to contact this guy. Again, there's a lot of awesome modern time artists right now out there. But yeah, I handpicked him. Because, yeah. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have presented much today, or somebody big, because I don't really prepare too much sometimes. But I was just like, you know what? I'd be proud to share. Look at that. Every design is very individual, because you have some artists that everything looks kind of similar, which is good too, like Giger. Everything looks similar. He has a flow. But this guy has this biological side to him where he can create a new monster, but it looks like it. You can already imagine what environment it lives in, what it eats, how it reacts, how it moves. You can get that all from one image. It's that saying, a photo is worth 1,000,000 words. And if a painting is as well, then I think that's success. Time to vote. Yeah, it is Louis. Sorry, Louis. Blue hyena. Yeah, see, it's this hyena body, but then the mouth is more hippo-ish, you know. I love it. Love it. I think it's a great work of being inspired by visuals. Because people always say, and big artists say, use pictures, use images of real things for your artwork. Don't just go off your mind. You can go off your mind it depends on the artwork you're doing too, but most concept artists, most big people, they say use references. Use references. When you draw people, use references. That's one of the key things. And this guy looks like he has a ton of references, pictures of animals, and he's doing just that. He's using references perfectly. So if you want an example of someone using references. What's up, OCD?
I said I love the really flat face design on this crocodile looking guy.
Yeah, the last one. It's cool
Yeah.
because he somehow mixes things to where it's unpredictable. That's why it's so catchy to me.
Yeah.
Like I'd be used to seeing this as a dragon or crocodile with a face, but then he cut it off and he gave it a different arm. He twists it at the perfect spot to make it entertaining and not boring to me as someone who looks at thousands of monster images probably a week. He did something in these that I just go, wait a minute, this needs a double look. I need to look at that again. Like that blue hyena. Okay, we see the blue hyena, but did you notice the arm? The front legs have hands. You know, it's yet it's all simplified. It's genius. I have to contact this guy, and yeah, maybe he's gonna be my John Hamm if you get my meaning.
You found your own waifu.
There are tons of images, and they're big, guys. He's not hiding his images. You can do Google search, and there's all these beautiful images. That's cool. I wonder where he's working. Yeah, and he has a dragon too, and he has this thing and that. And yeah, you just can't stop. It's brilliant work. Okay, I'll post one more just because this one's creepy. I love that his work. You could imagine seeing his work in a biology book, dinosaur book, or a horror book. That's the variety of a single thing that it does. Wacky creatures, but you can already spread it out to those fields. There you go, guys. One of the best concept artists I have to admit I've ever seen. Because there's so many too. I mean, if you saw like 2-3 images, it's like, well, he's cool. But I've seen many. But when you see like 100 and they're all like this, speechless. You must be shocked. I wish I could paint like that, says Chicken. They are never mess with them. Yes, very aggressive badger. Honey badgers. I used to not use refs at all, but once I started doing them, I improved a lot. Exactly, Chicken God. I didn't either, because you're proud, you know, that you don't need to. And sometimes people say, well, you're just copying. No, you should be using references as much as you can. And eventually you'll need to use them less, or just tidbits. You'll learn how to use them even better. But exactly, they will make you better. No doubt. Dande, I know you do a lot of illustrations of people, obviously, for your comic. And you do it well, you know, too. You do you do it in the comic book style, which I never delved into myself, so I really appreciate seeing your style. But like your hand positionings and your faces look amazing sometimes. What do you use references much when you draw a hand in a weird position? Do you look at your own hand? Do you take a photo on your phone of your own hand? By the way, that's a good idea to do, guys. Take a quick photo of your legs.
I sometimes look at my hand, but I think after a while of just practicing drawing hands for like 30 minutes in different positions, you kind of get an idea of how the hand looks like. I think studying the proportions and how things work and are joined together, I think also helps.
Yes.
Because then you know how much space is between the eyes and nose.
Exactly.
And it just makes it look better. But yeah, I use my own hands sometimes.
Sure. And that's the thing, guys, proportions. And that's what I noticed, Dande. I'd look at your proportions sometimes, but you do something with the proportions which you have the freedom to do as a comic book illustrator. You can twist them and give more expression by going beyond the rules sometimes, which you can't do with full realism Marvel comics, right? So yeah, you know, that's cool. It's cool to see a different look, and yeah, so I'd say Dande's comics certainly have a feel to them, a culture, society to them. Sorry, Dande, if I cut you off.
No, I've finished.
Sometimes Chicken God said sometimes feels like cheating. We're talking a lot of art today, guys, and that's what I do a lot after Monstercast, so sorry if you're not into that side of things. But the key is to use a bunch of refs, so you
We haven't even discussed tomorrow's topic.
You're right, Chicken God. One of the artworks my parents were the most proud of and actually hung in their house was a project I did in high school in art class. And it's what you said. What we had to do was take clippings. We had to clip out pictures, different pictures out of magazines, and then put those pictures together in a collage. so that it kind of makes sense on a big board. And then what we did is we just drew that. We copied all that. So that was straight up copying, right? But what came out was this weird abstract artwork I had of a gigantic whale going over an iceberg and a woman in the front diving. Just because of those magazine clippings. So that's, more direct copying. But yeah, it's definitely not cheating. If you want to be a professional portrait person, there's many things you can do in the art business to make your life easier, and the client won't give a crap. Do you think your client cares if they give you a photo of themselves, how you copy or draw their face? They just care that they get back a great looking realistic drawing of their face. But in reality, what you can do, you don't just look at the photograph. You can take the photograph, you can print it onto something, you can blow it up big onto the wall, and then you can go up to the wall, put your paper on it, trace the face over, and then work your shading and go from there. It makes your life as an artist easier and better and more profitable, because you can make the artwork so much faster. You copy it essentially, but you're still going to have to be very good at shading, because you can't copy shading, right? Copy outlines. But there's a lot of techniques you can do like that. Is it cheating? No, not if you're a professional. There is no cheating. You have to do where you can use your skill and get paid for your time. And so there's a lot of tricks. There's different cheating, right? So yeah, use references, and I guess that's the lesson I could bring from this artist that I wanted to share today. His name, by the way, I didn't even share his name, is Brent Hollowell. I will post it. I recommend that you guys right-click on that and send it to Google and look up more of his images, because as you can see right here, it doesn't end. It doesn't frickin' end. And can I say I'm jealous of him? I don't want to say that, but I always wanted to push myself in this kind of artwork style. And look at that. I love this one because like the mushrooms aren't even finished. It's kind of like older school artists, oil painters. They're not even finished, but it does need to be. The center of attention is right there, the face of this troglodyte-looking creature. Yummy. Look at the colors. I think that's what grabs me too, is he uses crazy colors, which I don't do. I'm a little grounded when it comes to using colors on animals. I'm a little bit earthy toned, but he's using a crazy pink color, and this creature still looks like it could have this color and be real, like poison dart frogs. So, and it has hair. You don't see hair on frog. God damn it. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Makes sense for a frog. It does, right? The hair doesn't, but here it does. I love it. I love it. Color, proportions, creativity. He's got it all. 10 out of 10. I'm going to change my name to Hollowell. I'm going to become crazy like Jono here with John Hamm. I'm going to talk about Hollowell for hours on my videos now. World of Monsters is going to become Hollowell. That'd be so cool if he would hear this. How big of a fan he's got here. I'll let him know.
What do you want, Arthur?
Do you guys think...
Stop calling me.
We're done, guys. No more jibba jabba from me. I just want to ask, because I will be doing the channel harder soon. Would you guys like a series on the channel, or just videos where I do interview or have some connection with artist creators? Because I know, of course, you guys would. But would you really, really like that on the channel?
Yay.
Okay, you would. Heck yeah, okay.
I want the interview with John Hogan.
I'll take that as a Napoleon Dynamite. Heck yeah.
Fuck you.
Heck yeah. Next start. That would be cool. Okay, you guys would. Okay. All right. I'll do that. I always had that in the plans, and obviously since I had Kid Show before, it's not a new idea for me. But I just, putting it out there. So I'll definitely think about it. I'd like to do it in a professional manner. I don't want to do green screens or me at my webcam and they're at a webcam, because And the World of Monsters, right? We do a lot of weird imagery on the videos, so like green screens, but I'd like to be next to them. We'll see. Okay. Thank you guys for answering that. I'll thank you after the show, Super OCD, for the support you gave me on thinking of my next backdrop. That was helpful. Okay, guys, let's vote for the next topic. This was crazy. I got sweaty. I got excited. I peed myself. I pooped a little bit in my chair. That's just how things go here. This is where Arthur just ruined everything. Everything was going good, then Arthur opens his mouth. At least I didn't talk about the Wheel of Torture today in my weird way that I did last time. I don't know. It just started spewing. Let's talk about JMPF says Halloweenish. Halloween. Next art contest. What am I going to do for the next? I don't know. Blue Worm is amazing. Huzzah for Blue Worm. Thank you, Raincrawler, for shouting out Blue Worm. And all our artists here. Raincrawler is an amazing artist. I forgot the other words. I'm not going to go on mentioning people because I forget too many. Obviously, Donde, Chicken God, Curtis, a Super OCD is an artist. She shares her work as well. JMPF shares. But yeah, Blue Worm, the person that helped me judge the last stop motion artist on YouTube. He's the best stop motion artist. Show me a better one. You know, and he has like 2,000 subscribers. That's bullshit. He should have as much, if not more, than me. He should have more than me. He should be 1 million. I should be at 1 million, but he should be at 1 million. So for sure, guys, give me some ideas for the next. I do lazy art, says Louis. I like your art, Louis. I'd call your art on a budget. You do things on a budget, which there's a huge place for that on YouTube. There's a lot of selfers, especially in D&D. That's all you do. Louis just made a video about making your own action figure, and he's using like trash and tape, and that's what he does. But in the end, he like paints it up, and it looks like a paper mache kind of thing almost. And I like that. And as a father, I think, again, he's a super dad from that angle. Louis, I enjoy the Lightning Man concept. Yep, that was his big one. Video game monsters. I think we did that. Yeah.
Already done.
But we can do something more specific.
Arthur, say it. Read my proposition.
Oh goodness! Even Pro repeated yours. Already done.
Well, we're already at 2 votes for that one, Arthur. So.
Gogmazio has a good one. Monsters that live in the desert. Monsters that eat dessert.
Still, two votes for John Hogan Monsters.
I'm gonna mix those two together, and I'm gonna say video game monsters that live in the desert. I'm gonna combine those guys if you let me.
Why do you always have to go against me?
Prehistoric monsters. We haven't done that, I think. I like that one. God, that's a huge discussion again. I'm sorry, guys. I really wasn't planning on talking this much. I just don't think it's the best for World of Monsters. I don't know if I talk too much, and I'm talking too much, so I'm sorry. Because Arthur secretly dislikes Italians. Prehistoric. Oh, yes. Okay, we need one more. Ooh,
John Hogan Monsters Part 2, Arthur.
Got a challenge for you guys.
The real deal.
Remember, guys, if you want to make a good suggestion, try to make it a challenge. Something more harder to find. Unknown.
What's more of a challenge than John Hogan Monsters Part 2, Arthur? You literally have to create your own monster for that.
Hello? I'm quiet all of a sudden.
So quiet right now.
Arthur, you still on?
Arthur, where are you? Da-da-da. That's my fine ballad.
Okay. Can you hear me? Here I am.
Okay, there he is.
Hear you now.
Sorry, guys. And thanks,
Hello.
Pro, for letting me know. If you guys can do that as soon as... Yeah, my connection got loose here. Okay. So, I don't know what you guys heard last, but it wasn't too important. So, I got the 3 suggestions. If you guys don't have any others, then I'll put these down, and you can forever hold your pieces. Long live Arthur. Obscure monster movies. We did something like that in the past. Didn't we? Do get mentioned often, but I'll put it down. Monster movies. I'm hungry. This is the best mood I'll ever be in while hungry, is with you guys. Because when I get hungry, I'm not in a good mood. But with you guys, for some reason, it all doesn't matter.
No,
Life
Arthur
doesn't
wants
matter.
to eat me again. Cannibal.
Okay.
Damn cannibal.
Here's... Well, you know what they say, Jono. You are what you eat. I know you eat a lot of pizza.
Arthur, why you never consider my propositions?
I did. That's why we had the worst episode before.
You mean albino monsters? Yeah.
Ooh, my wife reads my mind.
I mean, you write video game monsters, which we already did, but
Love my
not
better
John
half.
Logan Monsters Part 2.
Shut up, Jono.
No, I won't shut up. I demand justice
Okay,
for
I'm kidding.
John
I'm kidding. Just don't say F you to me again. Okay, here they are, guys. Video game monsters of deserts. Prehistoric monsters. I like that one. I like the idea. Rain monsters was mine. Something related to rain. I didn't have a great idea this time around, but another listing thing. And then obscure monster movies. So the movies themselves.
Didn't we already did something like that?
I think so too. JMPF says desert.
We're already running out of topics. That's why we need more John
We're never gonna run out of topics. Never.
That's why we need more John Hogan stuff. That's
John
the real
Hogan.
stuff.
I vote Game Monsters Desert. Okay, so you vote for monsters of video games deserts. Very specific. That's the way I like it. But I want more on my channel too. Eventually, I hit 1 million subscribers. We're gonna hit 100,000 guys soon. I'm gonna get that silver plaque someday that I've been working for. Selling my soul, ruining my relationships with my family, friends, loved one over this channel, ruining my professional career over World of Monsters. I'm not joking here either. Get that silver plaque. That, just fuck it because YouTube. But to get something physical, showing your goal, I like that. I still like it because YouTube asks people if they like the idea of getting the plaque for. I still like it. Whatever it is, to get something physical saying, good job, you got this for, I think that's a really cool for yourself. It's mentally very healthy. Proceed. Justice for Ham. That should be your hashtag, Jono. Hashtag justice for Ham. Ham justice. I like the prehistoric monsters idea. Okay, prehistoric monster.
God damn it. Listen to me.
Helga appeared 2 times today. Yep. So I got 2 against 2. Oh, I got another for prehistoric here. Ooh, so I can break the tie, I think. Or there's no tie. I think prehistoric is winning.
No, John Logan Monsters Part 2 has 2 votes so far.
Jonna, what are you voting for? Pro, what do you vote?
Monsters Part 2.
More
John
votes
Logan
you
Monsters
give,
Part
more
2.
I'm gonna go
powerful
for
I
video game
become.
monsters of deserts.
Deserts. Okay, so looks like deserts has at least 3.
I'm for desert monsters.
John, what do you vote for? Pro said rain. Okay. Desert. I think desert's winning. I think I would go with prehistoric, because we've mentioned dinosaurs but never really done anything too much. And I don't even know if it would be dinosaurs. It could be just monsters that you think would live and blend in really well in prehistoric times. Just like that artist I shared.
That would be better.
I think his monsters look perfect for prehistoric time. What did you say, JMPF?
That would be better since dinosaurs were just animals.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's desert. Okay, guys. 1, 2, 4, 1. Is it a tie? I'm gonna give it to desert. Right? Okay, guys. So video game monsters of deserts. That's a pretty fun one. They're all fun. Thank you guys for making this such an awesome episode. I really love shouting out artists. The smaller and better that they are, the better to shout out. My favorites for today, I had a lot that I loved, but I have to say the one that stuck on my mind is the one that Chicken God shared in the book. The whole book's available online. I still want the physical copy. I don't want a lot of coffee table books, but that one I think is just, it's a work of art, the whole thing. It's amazing. So thank you, Chicken God, again for sharing that one. What were your favorites, guys? What were your favorites that you saw today? What kind of inspired you? What kind of hit something in you that you looked at and you're like, well, damn, I didn't know about that one, but it was awesome.
I think that the ones the very cool looking monsters, the ones you just went on a huge tirade about. What's his name again? It looked pretty cool. The ones you posted, Arthur.
The last one, Hollowell.
Yeah.
I wish I could know
Yes,
names better when I'm shouting out people, but something Hollowell. Yeah.
I'm all full of names. Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah, and you do. I could definitely see that with your artwork, especially since that one Monstercast we were doing where you were drawing everybody's descriptions.
Oh, yeah.
You were doing exactly that. You were doing chimeras of sorts. Oh, for sure. Damn, can't wait not to choose something for next weekend. So, video game monsters of deserts. Yes. Heck yeah, totally got a copy. Get a copy? I think so. I think it's worth the $80, especially if it's an older book too, like a collector's one. I'm a fan of that for sure. And I'll have it on my table. If I have any books on my table in my videos, like when I do that crazy background, that'll be one of those books. Well worth the money. Always inspires. Okay, nobody said anything else. What about you, Donde? Any creator today that you really, I don't know, that you can just remember right now to say that you enjoyed?
The one Italian one that made the book and renovated the inside of his home to look like his artwork. I thought that one was pretty neat and inspiring, just to make like a book with your artwork.
Yep.
Even if nobody could read it or something.
Please stop it, Donde. You're making me blossom.
Blossom? But you haven't blossomed yet? You don't have hair under your armpits yet, Jono? So, yeah, that's the one I was talking about too, Donde. For sure. Oh boy. Somebody's messing around here. So, anyway, let me do something here since somebody's showing up on, and I'm very safety conscious about stuff like that. Okay, guys, so thank you for making this one of the best monster casts ever. One of the best shout out monster casts ever.
Yeah, still not the best.
I want to say to you of those that got my little troll video that I made online with the Korean eating live octopuses, that got a lot of hate because people think that was like my thing. They don't get that I made a whole video about that for a different reason, which OCD obviously got.
You screwed up, Arthur.
And I didn't screw anything up. People just don't want to watch things through, you know? So screw them. And all I want to say is for those of you that watched through and enjoyed it, and at least got the point, thank you. OCD, thanks for being out there with sword in hand in the comments. I always appreciate the warriors.
I stabbed someone.
Pro wasn't one of those warriors. He was quite the opposite. He joined the other side. Thank you, Pro, for nothing. It was fun to make. It's dry. It wasn't really that funny. I just wanted to make it to also draw attention to that, and I'm glad I did. I got 50% dislikes, but I'm okay with that. If I make a video where I'm talking about a monster and I get 50% dislikes or a lot, which I've gotten in the past because of how I filmed it, that hits me a little harder. But this, I was expecting that because of what it is and how people view things. And I get this, I'm losing this some subscribers on that video still daily. But I'm okay. I just didn't give a crap. And I think I hit the right mentality in myself and with the channel. And I think that video is a staple sort of in the timeline. It's not a big thing. It's not going to get a lot of views. It's not a big thing in our timeline. But personally, it's a little bit of a staple of what and where I came to in terms with myself and to continue this channel. So with that, I might continue about that offline here, but I'm done with the Monstercast. I don't want to bother people anymore. I don't want you to sit around here and wait me finish talking because you have the fear of missing out if you leave now. So I don't want to do that to you by prolonging these too long. Thank you guys for being here. And for you, since Pro's here and he's a big one on this too, I thank you all again that keep this Discord going and going strong with actual good contents, not shit posts as Jono does. You said it yourself, Jono. But no, Jono posts some good stuff too. I'm just kidding. He just said that before himself, that he does that. Let's see, Louis.
Why you don't like me?
Totally likes John Hamm. Louis said, Jono totally likes John Hamm. Make him do a whole WUM episode on John Hamm. Who knows? You know, I'm crazy, and you know that about me, Louis, and I can never say no to anything because I don't even know myself. My mind is fried. I can't remember the names of the artists.
When are you doing the All About John Hogan video?
Just remember,
to join,
guys who forgot the name of the artist. Sorry, John. No, I'm not. Sorry, John. I just got to go over you here right now. Just remember, Italian artist that created his own book of crazy stuff with his own language. Just Google that and you will find the artist's name. Okay, guys? So it was an Italian-based artist. The last one was really good. Thanks, Rain. I think so too. You got hate for that. Guess they couldn't read. Yeah, I saved one subscriber. OCD saw it, which is really cool because... No, that was Griffin. She saw it because it was a subscriber that said, I'm unsubscribing. So I replied to him and I said, so you support this girl? And he's like, no, the opposite. But then he said something good. He gave me a really good answer. He said, actually, I don't like any videos with this girl, even trash videos, because they still give her attention. I agree, you know? And then he watched the rest and he said, actually, it was funny. I didn't know she gets eaten by the octopus. So he came back as a subscriber. I replied to a troll and got them back. And that's happened a few times in my history. That's why I say, if it's a smart troll or a decent troll, well, that wasn't a troll, but replies, sometimes you get them back. But trolls, sometimes that they just say crap, I just completely ignore them. But I got back a subscriber, and he also brought some awareness to me, which I knew, but I still like the effect of the video. I did clip the video, guys. I didn't know you can still edit videos after they're up. I cut off most of the beginning so that you don't see her eating the stuff. You just get to the point where I did the editing. I also, and I'll say it here, I gave her a really ugly nose because she has a nose job. I'll say it right here. I want to say it live while everybody's listening, because it's a message I'm proud to send. So let me do this spiel and then I'll send you guys off. So you guys can go if you want to. It's nothing more monstrous here anymore other than monstrous people.
Why do
Two
you,
things,
why do you
guys.
hate me, Arthur, so much?
Okay, nothing's been about you for the last half hour, Jono. So calm your panties. We all love you, Jono. Okay, Pro loves you a little bit too much, but
Are
you're
we
in good
still
hands
live?
here. Yes, we are, because I want to make the message go through while you're interrupting and not paying attention and asking if we're even live. So 2 things with that video, guys. One, okay, she's eating live octopuses. I just want to take this moment to explain it here because I'll never have that chance to explain it on my channel. I'm not going to make an explanatory video and I'm not going to post a bunch. I want to say it here, and whoever catches it, and you guys are close to me, Louis got it, and I'm glad he did because he's one of the people I care. You know, if they watch my video and I get a response, I care. And he doesn't troll me like a lot of people do here too. So that's why I care even more, you know, about concrete reactions. 2 things. Eating octopuses alive is a big part of some cultures. That doesn't bug me. It's not an animal. Well, we don't know that much. We know it's quite intelligent. We don't know that much. But they do eat them alive. That doesn't drive me nuts. I've never eaten live animals, but I've eaten some I probably even shouldn't have. And I'm not proud of that. They were dead, but I experienced different cultures and, you know the saying, I'll do it once. But it wasn't that bad. So that's not what bugs me. What bugs me is shit content that is huge and it makes YouTube look bad. It makes us, if you say you're a YouTuber and in somebody's mind it connects to fucking mukbang videos like that, that puts me down. It's just as a whole, I don't like those kind of videos. Eating in front of a camera and recording the sound of your eating and eating a bunch of food, it's a retarded video, but granted, okay, they get tons of views. Just like ASMR. I don't have much respect for it because there's no talent, there's nothing, but it gets views. But I get it. Idiocy has sold out. I've gotten it a long time ago. Jake Paul, Logan Paul, whatever, those people are huge, and many others. I'm going to stop picking on them. I just know their names, and I fuck with names. Many creators are big like that, and they're idiots in a lot of senses. Fine. So this creator, she did that, but in addition, it's squid eating, and the way she does it, yeah, she does need to do it. Do it in your country, whatever. But this being, and it's in this mukbang style, which I don't appreciate already. That's a double whammy for me. And on top of it, he thinks she's pretty because she has this ugly nose job. You see, Asians, no, everybody wants what they don't have. Pale people want to be dark, so they tan their skin crazy. Go to Florida, you'll see some dried out, tanned, very dark white people. Go to Asia, go to Japan, you'll see some crazy tanned out Asian, well, in Japan, but particularly in Asia where they have darker skin, they want to be bright. So they bleach their skin. Literally, they kill layers of their skin to be pale. They do jaw reconstruction surgery where they break their jaw and make it thinner and more V-shaped. They do nose jobs, boob jobs. We know all that. But the nose jobs in Asia and the jaw thing just blows my mind. I think that's so sick. And I always told my Asian students to don't be inspired by this shit. Be proud of you, Little alterations, cool. Or for art, cool. But because you want to look prettier, you break your jaw. Anyway, so I saw, this Korean girl eating the squid has a very fake nose. It's obviously fake because she had a wider nose, but white people have narrow noses. So a lot of Asians, they cut their noses and do nose jobs to make them smaller and thinner. But hers is a little overdone. And I'd say a bit overdone. It's not like Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson had an excuse. Don't pick on Michael Jackson. He had an excuse. These people don't. So hers is very ugly. It's not proportioned with her face. So what I did in the video too, it was the meanest part I did in the video. is I wanted to give her a skull nose to just make it even more skull looking, upturned than just holes. Like if you cut off your nose, you would just have skulls, holes in your face, right? And that's how I edited her face. So, and nobody like got it. People are looking, they're like, her nose is trippy. What's wrong with her nose? But nobody said like, her nose is edited, guys. Nobody even like noticed that. But that was my whole purpose, was to exaggerate what I found ugly in her nose, and I even posted that. That's the meanest thing I did. And no offense to people that have what they consider ugly noses, fix it. I have friends that have done it, but to those extremes, to where it looks ugly, like hers, don't. I mean, she probably looked better with the whole thing to me. To other Asians, they probably like her scary skeletal nose. Those kind of people, those kind of Asians. I'm not talking general Asians. So that's a message I wanted to send to, which who knows who got, but now at least you guys get. And of course the octopus getting its revenge, because it's so fun to edit that. It's not funny if I watch it, but it was funny because I added, there's another video of a Korean, or a Chinese maybe, girl eating an octopus, and it clings onto her face and it bites her face. It's great. And she's screaming. And she's crying because it actually bit her face. There's a little bit of blood. I took the audio from that video and posted it onto this video while the octopus is eating this one. I posted the audio from the other girl that was a bit. That's why it was so funny for me just editing it. You don't get it, but it really was. And now when I watch that edit, being the one that sat through it and know the clip, it's just funny. It's really stupid. It's dry, whatever, but it's funny because that girl looks so stupid trying to pry off the octopus of her face, and it bit her, and she was like angry at the octopus for drawing some blood, and she said it disfigured her face, but it just like made a little nick, and now she's gonna torture it and eat it. So screw her. I had a lot of fun making it, and I'm proud to have it up. So that's my sell on it. Take it or leave it. Glad I could say it somewhere. Who left? All right, my friends, it's time for me to fly. Louis left. Cool. You guys are out, so I am out. Thank you, everybody. Let me catch up with your comments, and I'll be done. Usually I do that afterwards, but since I did, Arthur uses DMT. I've never actually tried DMT. See how he treats me. I'm supposed to be Slayer. Yeah, you keep interrupting because you never pay attention, Jono, even to my videos.
That's not true, Arthur.
But it's okay.
I just like to joke around. You know how it is.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding, Jono. Everything I ever say to you is a joke, okay, Jono? Except for the nice things I say. Those are meaningful, okay? Remember that. Flesh is weak. Metal is forever. Mukbangs were taken from... And they're called mukbangs, if you guys don't know. Those videos where people eat in front of the camera. They eat something, like a lot of something, and they just record the sounds. Oh, it's disgusting. Guys, there's a fetish for everything. I've seen YouTube channels where people show their fat, and other fat people get turned on. Like, not just sexually, but like that's what they strive for. They want to be... Talk about Real World of Monsters. That's what they strive for. There's a lot of people like that are actually striving to be fatter. And they have competitions, and they have YouTube channels. There's everything, guys. There's pee fetishes. Everything. Okay? Mukbang isn't the worst, but what's the worst is that it gets billions of views now. I think billions. That girl caught 23 million views. Can you imagine that? 23 million. It's like a big music video on her eating that crap. A lot of dislikes. But she's still up. YouTube won't take her out. Somebody reported my video, which made me laugh too. Somebody reported me. Oh, man. That was great. That's how much people... And that's why I'm glad people are unsubscribed. I'm not glad, but I'm okay with it because I know I make long videos, guys. You know that when I get in depth. If those videos can't see a short ending within 1 minute, less than 1 minute, that the octopus eats her and I edited that, if they can't see that or get it, they're not going to get any of my other videos. They're just going to look at my werewolf listing or whatever and then not watch anything else. So I don't really need those viewers.
The boring stuff. We want more Godzilla videos or John Hogan related videos out there.
For sure.
We want more. We want more Easter eggs.
YouTube already screws us, giving us this fake number that we have a lot of subscribers. It's real, but they don't contact those subscribers for us like they used to watch our videos. So it is kind of a fake excitement. So I don't want, 1 million subscribers and I get 4,000 views on a video.
Of course.
Right? I'm still going to get that. But if I can weed out a little bit, that's cool. I just watched Boogie's video yesterday. He has 3 million subscribers. He got 5,000 videos on 5,000 views on a video. Of course, not the best work probably on his part, but that sucks. As a minimum, I don't know, you should be getting 50, 70,000 views if you have some million subscribers. It's bad. But I'm over it, and now I'm ready for World of Monsters 2.0. I was going to thank you offline, but I'll thank you again, Supro CD, because you maybe inspired that video, because it was after I chatted with you and I told you, I don't know what video to make. And it really wasn't you at all, but I remember you were the last person I talked to. And then suddenly after the Monstercast, that idea just hit me. And I know you were there when I was telling you, what quick video should I make next? That wasn't the one I had planned at all. Let's see, mukbangs were... okay, so Chicken God said, and I'll finish this and I'll go offline, guys. Mukbangs were taken from what they originally were and were trashed by YouTubers. Reminds me of the foot binding. I wonder what foot bind... maybe the foot torture thing. Like the high heel stuff where they step on snails and animals.
Yeah.
Really nasty stuff too.
Yeah, that's sick.
That's what people relate this to, and which makes Asians look bad again. Asians get a lot as a whole bad reputations in many ways, especially with the virus now, and I don't like that. And when somebody Asian is representing other people of their culture and they do something stupid, that's what annoys me very much too. I'm Polish, and okay, this should be all offline, but there was another Polish lady in my class once, and she was making an idiot of herself, like a class full in college. And do you think after that I wanted to stand up to her and tell her, hey, I'm Polish, and talk to her in Polish? You don't, because she kind of ruins it for the rest of everybody. That's why... Okay, I'm going offline with this stuff, but just remember, if you're kind of a minority and people are already judgmental against that minority, you're going to be representing them. So take that responsibility to some degree. You're not... It's not your responsibility completely, but be aware of what you're doing. And so when this Asian girl is doing that, we accept mukbang, but now it's connecting people with the whole torture and animal torture, whereas eating octopus really isn't that bad when you look at the history and how it's done everywhere. But she made it. She brought in the people that are like, this is disgusting, and made it even worse, and it's her fault. Through her just a conversation over lunch or something. Korea eating is a very social activity, purpose of mukbangs. Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of people used it as a way to overeat in front of the camera, right? Especially since it's supposed to be eating in front of the camera. One with the octopus biting her. Hilarious. I love the video personally. Me, I love it too. I mean, I don't do a lot of funny stuff, and I'm not good with it. Sometimes I think the funny stuff that I can do, I just don't put it in video. But I laughed at. I get it that it's not funny when it's done, but when you're working on this, guys, particularly maybe pro, since you mentioned it's not funny, it's different, even I was showing my wife, and she thought that as well. As long as it's for a good cause, I will troll, but not anymore. World of Monsters is going more professional after this. This was the turning point. I currently started watching on YouTube that talks about medieval. Oh, cool. Okay, I'm ending this because I'm just replying to you guys now. Thanks, guys. I would have been sitting here and chatting anyway, so I figured I might as well keep streaming. But there's Pro excited with Jono, always pointing the finger at him. See you guys over on YouTube. Thanks for the support, and thanks for bringing up awesome people today, guys. Go ahead and say your goodbyes. See you next Saturday.
Have a good day. Have a happy Mother's Day for those who celebrate.
Nice one, Dande. Happy Mother's Day.
When fighting Hom, you yourself do not become a Hom, for when you gaze long into the Hom, the Hom gazes also into you. Friedrich W. Nietzsche.
By the way, Jono, happy Mother's Day. Three, two, one.